Welcome to the Poetry of Justice show with Jackie Ray Phillips here on YikesRadio.com and AcceleratorRadio.net. Guys, here on the Poetry of Justice show, this is where social consciousness meets the arts. And what we do is we select topics that spark the interest and awareness of social diversity, ranging from arts, entertainment, and social justice at large, leaving our listeners thinking and saying,
YikesRadio.com.
Guys, YikesRadio.com, those are the very sultry sounds of our mentor, the Mr. Kevin Nash. And I always like to give Mr. Kevin Nash a very special shout out because this is his brainchild here at Accelerator Radio. And were it not for him, it would be impossible for me to do what I so love to do here on Saturday nights, guys. And I'm so blessed to have all of my beautiful queens with me, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to give a very special shout out to Lori G, the benefactor. How are you tonight, gorgeous?
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Just trying to keep the social media life up and going, guys. It's wild and wicked out there, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing, You doing good?
I'm doing good. I'm excited.
Huh?
Yes.
You say it. You tell us.
Well, you know, every time Shelly C shows up, right? We got some good stuff today, people. You gotta sit back. You know, I know it's hot outside. Get yourself a nice iced tea with or without alcoholic beverages added, and tune on in and listen. It's going to be an enlightening show.
Yes, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Shelly C in the house tonight. Lovely ladies of the chat. How are you doing tonight, gorgeous?
Hey, how are you? I'm good.
I know it's going to be a big one, so I'm going to let Shelly take us over a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and just keep saying hello to everybody. And how are you doing tonight? The lovely Jontel Jones coming on. How are you, gorgeous?
I'm doing
Mrs.
well.
Jones.
Hello. Thanks for having me tonight. I'm excited.
Thanks,
And we have Mrs. Jones filling in for Tanya Michelle, who's a little under the weather. So we're wishing you a speedy recovery.
And lots of chicken soup.
And lots of candy, too. I love goodies.
Lots of sugar. Sugars are good.
Yes, it's a good healing. Makes you feel good.
Right? But we are going to be amazingly excited tonight if that's the case, Shelly. I just wanted to go ahead and just tell everybody thank you so much for joining us here, ladies and gentlemen, tonight on the Poetry of Justice show with Jackie Ray Phillips on YikesRadio.com and AcceleratorRadio.net. Lori G, what is on the docket tonight? What are we talking about, gorgeous?
We are talking about true crime tonight.
True Crime Saturday.
Cookies and crime.
Cookies and crime. Because y'all, if you haven't been to Crumble,
It's a crime.
it's a crime.
That's
Because Shelly C brought us Crumble cookies, and it made Rashid smile.
He's still
He
smiling.
is still smiling. How are you, Rashid?
Oh, my God.
Anka already told me bouncing off the
Sugar rush.
I'm juiced up on Mountain Dew.
It's going to be a
when
sugar
I
rush.
get home. I can already tell I'm be
All
jumping.
we had to do was tell Rashid that we had some Butterfinger on top of a cookie, and he was ready.
Yes.
He was ready. And it's probably a fourth left right now. Oh, yeah, you've been going to town.
Who was that? Greg?
No, Rashid.
Rashid, girl.
It's a
Butterfinger on top of that cookie.
He loves Butterfinger on top of
He
the
loves
cake.
it. Ooh, and lemon and
It's a
chocolate.
chocolate and Butterfinger.
Yes.
What the dessert? Peanut butter. It's a peanut butter cookie.
Uh-huh.
And then you got chocolate in the middle.
Uh-huh.
But then on the chocolate,
On the chocolate is.
It's the Butterfinger.
you got the Butterfinger.
Not the Butterfinger.
Butterfinger.
It's the all good. I'm
Bomb.com, ain't it?
got me talking like Bill Cosby.
Right. Where do you find these decadent things, gorgeous?
Oh, crumbles can be found anywhere now. I know there's one in Manhattan Beach. Now they're putting one up in Inglewood, but they're trying to put them up all over, I hear.
There's a brand new one out in the IE.
I'm hearing they're going up everywhere.
In Inglewood. It's right there off of Century and Crenshaw.
Okay, so
That's been there, I think, for about 6 months, I think.
okay.
Maybe a year.
All right, Crumble, if you listening, we need some proceeds coming this way because we're giving you some.
We
giving
are
you some
free
props.
advertisement.
We are giving you some props up in here, so you need to give us a call. What's the number? 310-910-9676.
Extension 1.
Extension 1, Crumble. Come on now.
There we go.
Shelly C, so tell us about True Crime Saturday night.
True crime. So tonight we're going to discuss Mrs. Ruby McCollum, McCollum, and hopefully you guys will look her up. But her story is a remarkable one. And as you know, we have our true crime series, and we talk about murder, and sometimes we do murder and martinis, murder and mimosas, murder and mojitos, margaritas. Today we're doing crime and cookies.
Yes, crime
and cookies. And it fits because it is about crime and Ruby giving up her cookies. Yeah,
that's true. I mean, if you put it like that,
yeah,
it is. It falls right into it. Is that her husband?
Cookies.
Let me see. No, I think that's the white man.
That's the doctor.
Yeah,
that's
the doctor.
Freaky Jason.
So
and that's
Freaky
their child. That's the love child.
That's the love child.
My God.
So our story is about Ruby, who is a very prominent black woman, wealthy black woman in Florida. It was called Oak Live.
No, Fair Oak, something like that. But it's where the Swanee River is.
Yes, in Swanee County, right?
In Swanee County.
And her house was one of the most admired houses. Many people would see her house and just think it was so beautiful because it was big, and she was wealthy, and she married a man who was in the insurance agent business with his brother.
Where did her wealth come from, Shell? Did they describe where her wealth came from?
Her wealth came from her husband.
Okay.
She had a chance. They did talk about a tiny bit that, she had a chance to get with other men, but she chose him because she knew she had
Live Oak, Florida.
Live Oak, Florida. That she would have a very promising future because Ruby went to one of the most prominent schools in Florida that was there for black kids.
Okay.
And she had a really good education is what she got. And so Ruby did really well for herself, especially for a woman in 1952. She married a man by the name of Sam McCollum. And like I said, he and his brother opened an insurance agency, so they did very well. But one of the things that her husband did was run numbers, something that's called Bolita. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's where mostly all of the black people in Florida were running numbers.
I played a few numbers.
And won some good money. We had people from the church. They talked about that. There was
all the people was in the church.
All of the people was running numbers, and Sam McCollum, which is her husband, was behind that, and that's where he made most of his money. So he always had a lot of cash on hand at the house and a suitcase in the bedroom. So he always had a bunch of cash. And the person that was behind helping him so much was a doctor by the name of Clifford Adams. And he was a doctor that was well known amongst the black community because he would always take care of the black community as far as their health. They would always come and see him. He would do a lot of examinations for black people at that time. So a lot of black people, he would give them free service. He wouldn't charge them. Sometimes when they would come into him, unbeknownst to them, that he was using them to claim with the government that they worked for him.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't really that he wasn't getting any money. He made it seem like he was doing favors for the black community, but he was actually getting money from the government on these people and he was actually falsifying documents to get money from the government, stating that he's treating these people. So that was found out later. So a lot of things that he did was dishonest, but he looks like a prominent person because he ran for the Senate. So how he and Ruby got involved is Ruby met him one day through her husband, and she went in for an examination. And once she went in for an examination, he said, I do house calls, so I'll make sure that I come by, and check on you, because she had just had her baby. Her baby was very young. So this was her second child. She had a son that was like a teenager at the time. And he came to the house and examined her and told her that she needed to take her clothes off and they were going to have sex. And he did. And at that time, of course, black women, they did what they were supposed to do because they were afraid of the white man killing their family or their kids, or there would be some repercussions behind that. Like, her family was doing very well because of this man. So he would come by every morning. People saw him come by every single morning when her husband would leave, and he would get his cookies and leave, and said, there's nothing anybody's going to do about it. Pretty much. So she became afraid.
Including her husband.
Because
It's important to indicate that she stayed married to Sam McCullum this
whole entire time.
whole journey.
Did she ever tell her? Did she tell her?
People were saying that they think Sam knew because
The neighbors knew.
the neighbors knew, and Ruby had a baby by this doctor.
And
That's that little child we looked at.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had to see this baby now.
She had
that
3
was biracial.
by her husband. She had 3 kids by her husband, and then she became pregnant by the doctor because the doctor continuously came over and had his way. And at that time, black women, there was nothing that they could do. If they were propositioned by a white man, they had to pretty much give in and listen. That's how it was back
Or
then.
you endanger yourself, your family, your children.
basically everything that's in your
Yes, yes, yes.
So the 3 children were Sam Jr., Sonja, and Kay.
Yeah, those 3 were by her husband.
Right.
Okay,
And those are by Sam.
and Loretta, which was the baby,
The
the biracial one was by the
Right.
doctor. So I'm sure Sam knew at some point.
Something tells me Sam knew probably when the fourth pregnancy happened, when he's like, wait a minute.
Something's different, right?
And then Ruby
They're
became
not
pregnant a
intimate
second
and they're
time
pregnant.
by the doctor, and after she got pregnant the second time, he gave her a shot to make her go into labor, and she delivered early, and of course the baby
Didn't
was
make it.
Died.
Oh my gosh.
So after that,
Could you
she
imagine the psychological trauma?
yeah.
That's insane.
Some people say that, there was some psychological trauma. Some people say, most of the people were white people, said, oh, she was involved with a doctor, so that was like a privilege for her, a white doctor, so she was okay because that gave her, clout to be involved with a white doctor. And so I don't believe that, because Ruby packed her 2 children. The smaller ones, because the older one was a teenager. The 2 smallest, one was 6 years old, and one was 1. That was
his baby.
That was his baby. That was 1 year old.
Oh my goodness.
And she got in her Chrysler, her brand new Chrysler, white wall, packed her gun in her purse, went into the colored side of the doctor's office, and went into his office and shot him, put her gun back in her purse, walked out, got back into her car with her children, and drove home. And fed her kids, waited for her husband to get home. The sheriff showed up. She took the sheriff up the stairs.
Shoot them too?
We don't know how she paid the sheriff, but remember that Sam had a big suitcase full of money upstairs. So we don't know how Ruby paid him off, but he left. He did not arrest her. He left.
Okay.
So when she shot the doctor had a $100 bill in his hand. So it was speculated that Ruby was paying him for whatever service he did for her, whatever examination, and he was like, no, this is not how you pay me. So they're saying that she shot him over a $116 doctor bill, but he had a $100 bill in his hand. So I don't think it was because she owed him money. I think she was saying, this is going to stop, and whatever you do for me, I'm going to pay you for it, and here it is. That's what I think. That's my interpretation of what happened.
They never addressed what made Ruby snap.
They never said. I think it was the fact that she got pregnant again by him.
But I think there was a period that didn't he hospitalize her,
Let's
Dr.
get to
Adams,
that.
for anxiety?
So what he would do is he would send her, he would drug her. He would give her, we call it drugs, of course, but he would give her things to calm her nerves because she was already
Nervous. And
come on,
anxious.
she's traumatized. So he would continuously give her stuff to calm her down. So they think that she may have been addicted to some drugs that he would be giving her. But then she ended up having a nervous breakdown after that second baby, and he put her in a asylum for like 12 days, didn't he?
Who did?
Yeah.
The white doctor?
Yeah.
White doctor for like.
Where was her
12
husband at? He dead?
No,
He let it go?
He's there. He's there.
So this is just basic. What I'm hearing, this is the slave house. This in current day. This
Yes.
is where he just go down to the slave quarters, get it in, bang you out in front of your husband like it ain't nothing, and just
Exactly.
go on back home.
That's exactly how it's
So
described.
basically,
He
that's
stopped
what
there
I'm
before
hearing.
work.
But it's just modernized in the 50s.
Right.
It's 50 style.
But he just coming and going, dipping and dabbing.
Doing what
Do whatever he
wants.
wanted to do.
And Jane, I mean, I'm just saying her. I mean, I'm just
Sam.
saying, they need her husband. Sam, his name. His name should have been James Evans, because from Good Times, because I just don't see somebody dip dabbing in Florida Evans. I just don't see that. And James just
getting
gonna
away
sit
with it.
Yeah,
Right.
no.
I know that's being
But
silly,
but Sam
no, fuck, come
Sam
on, Sam.
allowed it.
But I
Was
think
Sam
also
getting
too,
paid? Hold on,
Yes.
maybe he was.
Yes.
He might have been.
Sam was getting
I know.
kickback
He got to
from
be
the
getting some. You just let somebody
Bolita,
just
from
go
the
all up in
number
your
runner.
woman.
He was getting kickback from the Bolita
From
running
the
the money.
Bolita
And who's the
number
leaders?
runner.
The numbers running. Who
Yeah.
and what the connection with Ruby?
Okay, so basically,
He wanted
Wife,
Ruby.
he wanted Ruby. So
Ruby
I'm
was
gonna-
black and beautiful, and I think. See, this is the thing. They don't like for you to tell them no.
right.
Who?
They hate no.
I know. Why do you think I
White
had to
people.
do what I had to do with that fool
Okay.
10 years ago?
Right.
'Cause
They
that's
don't-
all because
you
I
cannot
would not.
tell them no.
Yeah.
You cannot tell them no. So
It's their
because he
world.
was told no, he
boy,
felt that
I'm mad.
Ruby is something that he needed to get because
Yeah,
Ruby
boy.
was wealthy,
no, yeah.
beautiful, and
And
smart.
who is this? Sam or fucking weirdo? Who is this people? Sam?
Sam is the husband.
I know, but that's you talking about Shelly? Who you
What?
think wanted Ruby because of.
No,
the
the
doctor
doctor
wanted
wanted
Dr.
because
Dr. Adams.
You know what I'm saying?
Doctor
You
named
see
Dr.
this?
Adams.
Everybody admires this black woman. She's got a beautiful house.
So she's not a mulatto in this situation. She sounds like to me she's the lady that did the hot combs that they talked about who really did
CJ?
the hot combs. Yeah, so like
Walker.
CJ Walker. So she's established. She's got some dough.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the
So he
way-
trying to get the dough with her though. He trying to blend his blend with
Well,
her.
you
kinda
see,
dough.
that's
But she's
the-
not an ordinary black either. She's not a field gal.
right. So
No.
that's like a ordinary Joe getting Janet Jackson. You know, like a
Oh, how it happened when
But
Jermaine Dupri
I
got
have
her.
a different twist.
That part.
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
So-
when, you know, something that looks untouchable, you want to touch it.
Right.
So
Right.
you can't tell me
Okay,
no
well, let
because I'm
Rashid
white.
say
I
what
got
he's
money.
going to say. And I have a different angle. I don't think it was so much about being untouchable. But,
Okay.
What do you think it is?
well, Rashid's going to tell
Okay.
us what he
So-
thinks.
So let's look at the backstory of Sam.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, let's go down.
Let's get into Sam's.
Sam
Yeah.
was cute too.
Now,
For real?
Her husband
Oh,
was
that's
cute.
really
He had
how
some nice
cute she is.
eyes.
So they don't say what was the teeth like?
now,
I didn't see the teeth.
Okay.
now Sam had a brother
Okay.
named Buck.
Ah.
Now, they were a part of this Bolita gambling business, which is straight up illegal in Florida.
Running
Sorry, you
numbers.
guys. Let me tell you this too. Sam, I forgot. Sam, Sam and Ruby had it going on. Sam had the jukeboxes in all the clubs, so the money that was going in,
exactly.
he had that
the
too.
juke joints.
He had the juke.
Sam
Is
had
it? Well, they last names.
I
Herbert.
yeah,
Did you know Uncle
Herbert.
Henry? Do they friends?
Their last My uncle has
But we gotta
several
remember,
joints all up and down the
Sam-
eastern seaboard, people.
Chattahoochee too. over
In
there.
in terms of the backstory, we have to remember that Ruby married Sam because she could see that he was upwardly mobile. You got to remember, sharecropping is going on
At this
right
time.
now at this time. They left the Deep South. Sam and Ruby, when they first got married, they went to New York.
Right.
That's why I think the last name's Herbert. They went to
That's
New
right,
York.
you're right.
Okay.
Like up there with
And
them.
they were trying to make it. They migrated there. But then Buck stumbled upon this insurance business, right? And he called his brother and said,
This
come
is what's
on
up.
back down. We can make it with insurance. But as you say, it was insurance and it was number running.
and the
how
jukeboxes
the
and the jukeboxes.
Number running.
And well, the jukeboxes he
jukeboxes,
added to all the clubs.
It was gambling, which included gambling and liquor sales.
Clearing the money.
Back up in North Florida, where they relocated to Fort Myers, Florida. But
I'm telling you, too close to home.
but
Fort
of
Myers.
course, back in my they got away with it for the longest time, mostly because they were just paying off the local law enforcement.
Right, which was
Or when your
Dr.
family
Adams,
member is
because
law enforcement,
very
Henry
true.
Dukes.
But
Calling
Dr.
them
Adams was a part of the political system
That
was
in their
allowing this to
county,
happen.
right?
Right.
He was a voice. Everyone bowed down to him.
right.
So Sam was
And
able
he
to
was getting
make
payment as well.
a living.
He
yeah,
was
and he
making
got a
his
cut,
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah, fact,
Yeah.
And
was-
Ruby was a part of that cut.
Yes,
Yes,
she was.
Ruby was
The
in it
coochie
getting her
cut.
money too.
Right.
And
But I think Ruby.
But do you think Ruby liked it?
My
That's what they
belief
say.
was that I don't know if Ruby liked it so much, but I think it was his way
knew what
as
was
a
up.
white man to say,
I still
"I'm
got
gonna
control
let
of
you
your
make
bitch.
this money."
But I'ma
But
bank
don't forget, you are a wealthy
Black
Negro,
man, right.
Right? Because I run this here, and I'm
Right.
gonna take your wife, and you gonna sit here and watch me while I
Right,
come in
right.
here
You're not gonna
and
do
take
nothing
her.
about it.
Now he didn't take. Well, I know what you mean by
I
take.
mean, you know what I'm saying? She
have his
didn't
way
have
because
his
he
way with her.
had because doctor had his wife and his daughter.
Of course.
They always do. That don't mean nothing. You know, yeah.
So he
But
he wasn't leaving them.
Hell no.
Never.
It's called
You're not
I
even
want
giving
more.
it to her. I
It was
bet.
I
control.
want more.
Yeah, I want more.
It's
That's
about
it.
I want
Power
her.
and control.
And don't forget, the money was also helping her oldest son go to school. Sorry, I'm sorry, Lori.
Ruby son?
UCLA.
Ruby son?
Oh, he went to UCLA.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just think it was like, yeah, everybody was making money, but he was getting it with Ruby
Right.
because he can. It's a power play, right?
It is.
It's a
Right,
power
and
play.
it's
Because
like
he can.
it's not much that the husband could actually do about that because if he tries to do anything
Well,
against that,
There is
Or if you
something-
guys ever like
we could
look
stop
at
running
shows
numbers.
like Till Death Do You Part
Right, we
or
could
those
stop
kind of
running
shows.
numbers.
People just shoot you. They
Sam wanted the
How many
dough.
shows you- don't you look
He
at true crime stuff?
right.
Sam wanted the
They
dough.
kill people.
Yeah.
wanted the
You
dough.
never
Yeah,
just
Sam and
Coca-Cola.
Buck and, like-
Or you could put fucking poison them to death.
right, and then that was
I gotta talk to you about because Ruby was hip to that too.
and that was around the
I gotta tell you about
time.
that. Gotta tell you about that one too.
And that was around the time that, like, when they had owned a farm, which was the largest tobacco allotment in Florida, that Ruby had developed an addiction to heroin.
Oh,
Ruby's
shit. So Ruby got on the stuff.
I didn't know. Ruby's doing heroin. I told you she reminded me
See?
of Billie Holiday. didn't
Ruby
I?
was on that stuff.
See. Well, I don't blame
She-
Ruby. I
she
don't
had to
blame
do something to
Ruby.
have to get
I don't
him.
blame Ruby. Everybody getting paid off my coochie. No.
Yeah, she said, I'm
I
not
don't
going to be the
blame
only
her.
one taking
Everybody
L's.
that I'm sacrificing my shit.
Yeah.
For you to
You
go to
do
school,
everybody and
for you to
you
run
do
numbers,
right.
for you
You
to
do
get
what
whatever.
you wanna
I'd
do.
have had a baby for you. You, I'd have lost my mind.
Give me my heroin. That's
Right.
what she said. I got enough.
Right.
Right, and then the messed up part about this was just another backstory. During 1952, black men could actually serve on the jury. Back
But
in
they
my-
didn't.
They didn't.
But they chose not to. Black generally shed away from jury duty. And only 2 black alternates in the McCullum case were chosen but never called to serve.
Right.
Of course not.
Right.
So during the trial, I'll let you know, during the trial, of course, they kept cutting Ruby off. Ruby couldn't really tell her story about what really happened.
Yeah, I got the
and the
judge
judge would not let them admit the evidence of the little baby. So guess what? Her sister-in-law was on the balcony because the black people had to sit in the balcony at the courthouse, and she was holding up the little baby, 1 year old. No, she was trying to show,
Like, look.
this is evidence for Ruby,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The
Put her
judge
out.
told those little juror white men,
Don't look.
do not look up there. This is not admitted evidence. Do not look up there.
Wow.
And they said you could clearly see that baby was mixed.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Of course.
Clearly, because he was lily white.
Right.
But that was the cold part about it, that they didn't want to let that evidence be admitted. So she was convicted.
But of course, because Florida had the strongest Ku Klux Klan chapter in the country.
Yes, they did. They were the most.
They were the most powerful.
Right, and I think what also puts this into better perspective was shortly before Adams' murder, the Swanee Democrat began threatening to release information on Sam McCollum's gambling ring, which put stress on Ruby and caused her to enter Brewster, an African-American hospital in Jacksonville at the time. Dr. Adams also began treating Ruby for stress, possibly
Told
with
you.
daily injections of a
Sedative.
Of a sedative.
She would
You know, that's why she was on heroin, girl. He done strung her out. He done her like Billie Holiday.
Strung her out.
Yeah, he done made a fucking $2 home bush with.
To make her keep coming back.
Yep.
She
To
would
make
be
her keep coming
readmitted
back.
to Brewster
Well, I don't blame her for
a few
killing
more
that mother.
times.
That's what I'm saying. I can't blame Ruby. But they convicted her. They sentenced her to death.
Of course.
She's already walking dead.
They sentenced her to death. And
Did they kill her?
they did not.
Okay.
She made
Because her lawyer appealed it, and it went to the Supreme Court of Florida.
good.
And they, her lawyer said that she was guilty by insanity. So the judge appointed 2 psychiatrists, and they said that she was disturbed,
insane.
legally insane. That is what saved her from death row.
Hold on,
Yeah.
wait.
And
no,
Sam killed himself.
No, if I remember, they said that he died of a heart attack and she reported.
But he took all his heart pills.
right, but
So suicide.
Took a handful of Corey.
yeah, basically Sam knew his life was over when his wife shot Adam.
Yeah, he
Sam
went
knew
and
it
got
would
that
never be the
suitcase
same.
full of money. He got that suitcase full of money and packed the 3 kids in the car. But then all of a sudden he died of a heart attack, and that suitcase of money is missing.
He didn't leave it at Ruby's mother's house.
No.
He left the kids.
He left the kids there.
Yeah. So what happened to the money?
You get the money to Buck? Or somebody came and took that money?
So when you are
Dead man's
considered,
hotel,
when you
man.
are
That's it.
considered criminally insane, you are committed to a place that's called Chattahoochee in Florida, and it is the worst place. They say it is the worst place next to death because how they treat the black people there that are mentally
Mentally
ill. They beat them, electric shock treatment. They tortured them. They did all types of things. So Ruby remained there for about 30 years. 30 years.
I know, right?
And when did she
30 years.
recover? She probably never recovered.
Yeah.
Well, she came home to live with her granddaughter and her daughter, one of her daughters,
What
and
happened to her fortune?
her
Just what the old boy was
house
right
and
off with
stuff.
and her granddaughter said that she was very pleasant still, despite everything. She was very, very pleasant till the end.
And this is exciting to hear. I'm reading it said McCullum's case is considered a landmark trial by these people in the struggle for civil rights, as they believe she was the first black woman to testify against a white man's sexual abuse and paternity of their child. It is considered to have helped change attitudes about the practice of paramour rights, and that's like sexual assault. Right, I look at paramour rights.
Because there's no such thing as a white man sexually assaulting a black woman. You know that, right?
Right there, that's
There's no
unheard
such
of.
thing.
And it helped in working to change Florida's Jim Crow practice of selecting all white juries.
It's a cold game, y'all.
Man.
Alright, so it's like the judge didn't let her literally tell her side of the story.
No.
Completely. When
They
it
cut
came-
her off.
When it came to sexual assault, put a gag order on her. So basically, the press couldn't actually interview her. So basically, after all this was done, she was convicted by jury for first-degree murder and she was sent to death in electric chair. But it was appealed, and during the period in which the appeal was decided, she was held in a Suwannee County jail. Her conviction and death sentence were overturned on a technicality by the Florida Supreme Court on July 20th, 1954. So that was 2 years later. The court cited Judge Hall W. Adams, the presiding judge, for failing to be present at the jury's inspection of the scene of the crime.
The sad part is they knew he was crooked because they found paperwork where let me make sure I get this right. He created a will for this guy who owned like this big hotel or establishment. And he created a will, and they said that in the will, it was a fake will because he forged the person's name, the guy's name. And he said, this whole thing saved my life because he was planning to kill me and take my business. Because they found a fake will.
Dr. Adams?
Dr. Adams.
To do that?
He was shady boots.
He was always shady.
Wow.
That's why I'm saying he was so bad, but they still defended him.
Sound like Donald Trump.
Oh, not Donnie.
Because he was running for
Senate.
Senate
Yeah, the Senate.
for the state of
Florida
Florida.
elect. Yeah, but for Florida.
Yeah.
Cold game.
And when he was killed, they were just so in an uproar.
Yeah, they were,
The whole town, well, not the black people, but the white side of town, they were crying and
Just so sad.
He was such a
disheveled.
good man.
Even they did an interview in this day. When did she do this doc? I watched the little black lady who did the documentary.
Where was he when she shot him? He was at
In
home.
his what?
At
He
his
was at work.
workplace, girl.
He was at
She
the
went around the doctor's
When
office.
Shelly went to the
Shot his
office,
ass down.
shot him 4 times with a revolver.
In the back.
In the back.
I know he was molded.
Bang, 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 bang.
Right.
What was that? Oh, I'm going down.
Yeah. She left.
When she left with her 2 kids and her Chrysler. Her brand new
In her
Chrysler.
brand new Chrysler, which she gets every year.
Every year she gets a new, or every whatever, she gets a new Chrysler.
Every year.
That,
So-
I don't know. That just shows you
so-
that underside of greed. I mean, let's talk about Sam for a minute.
Right.
Is there greed there? Is there fear?
No
Is there
fear. I think there's
emasculation of the
greed.
black man. What's happening with Sam?
Right.
Yes,
Sam's like,
Sam's
as long
got
as I can keep
issues.
running these numbers, Ruby, you do what you've got to do.
Really? Is that
Yeah.
where we are, Sam?
That's what Sam is saying.
Yeah.
Sam is saying, I need to get this money. And I don't know.
We gonna lose all this.
Yeah, if you,
Right.
Ruby.
Our
Look,
son
Ruby.
gonna have to come back from California.
Yeah, look, Rube.
He's in school.
Take one for the team.
Right. Look, we got to keep him in.
He said, come on, Ruby.
I think it was one of those.
He just turned the other
was
cheek. He had to
in-
act like he couldn't see.
Right, and it was a case of he was
I'd have been
in
angry.
way too deep with his brother in this operation,
And this- yeah.
Insurance get down
Yes.
and the numbers.
in this drug game, in this just
There's no
Underworld.
drugs. It's just number running.
Number running,
No.
juke joints,
No, there it was.
the liquor running. He was doing all. He had his hands in all these
Bootlegs.
pots.
He
Yeah,
had his
bootleg.
he had his hands pretty much in everything. He had
Illegal.
it so that you are where you are because of me. I can take you down
Any
tomorrow.
moment. Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow you will
I
not
don't
be in
know.
that house. You know, tomorrow your
practice.
son will not be in school.
Right.
Tomorrow you will not be running numbers.
right, and that's
But is
why
that
the
worth-
actual threat of the
And
doctor to
Sam
Sam.
gave $5,000 for the campaign for the Senate.
For doctor, for the doctor.
Yeah.
Yes,
See, they were in cahoots. There's something up.
clearly.
They were. When Ruby was just got caught up in
He's
a
a
twist.
pawn.
Yeah.
But it's a really
Pimping your wife.
Yeah, pimped her out. That's what happened.
I'd have killed him first.
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody
he
got to
killed
go.
himself because
He couldn't live with himself after that,
Well,
right?
because he
He was next up.
they
anyway.
was gonna
Klan-
take
the
his,
Klan was coming for
the
him.
Klan was coming for
Yeah,
him.
he said, I'll gracefully bow out.
So he killed
I'm surprised the Klan didn't get her.
They
Right.
couldn't.
They
get that.
tried to. Something happened. She was in a car or something, and I think whoever the law enforcement was kind of outran them in the car and told them they were trying to get her.
They were trying to get to her. Ruby? Wow.
I know, pretty
That's what I said,
staggering.
but
huh,
God.
Reggie?
Right.
It is. It's just a sad situation.
But when she was in Chattahoochee, where they treat people, she
That's
lost
the Forest State
60 to 80 pounds because she was afraid that they were going
trying
to
to
poison her.
I bet she was. I guess.
So she lost like 80 pounds, and the only time she would eat is if her brother brought her food, and her brother had to taste it first. She was like,
Because I could barely trust you.
Yeah, so that
Right.
drives you crazy in and of itself.
And she took the mattress off the bed and slept on the springs because she thought that there was poison
In the
powder in
her
her
breathing
mattress.
chest, yeah.
And then she would put tissue in her nose
so they can't come in at nighttime.
so she couldn't breathe in. Yeah.
See?
And no one ever interviewed her as to if there was like a precipitating event. Like, why did she kill him that day?
They couldn't.
They didn't really say. I think that she just had it. I just think there's another case of snap.
She snapped. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. She just
I'm
snapped
just like
and stuff. She
done.
said, no more.
You have done everything you could possibly do to me. Like,
And I'm trying to pay you now. Now you're done.
and
That's
you're
not
drugging
good
me,
enough. Yeah.
and you made me have 2 babies. One, you made me miscarry. Like, there's no heart in this. So why should I have any heart for you? Like, you need to die. Like, the only way this is gonna end,
Is if
If
you
I
die.
kill you.
and I'm willing to risk the KKK.
Right.
That's crazy. That's how bad it was for her. And just think, she probably went through detox on that heroin in
Bad,
jail.
Big time. They
That
didn't do nothing to help her like they did Billy.
Yep. So literally, she was there for 20.
Because most of the time, like they say, the heroin is so strong, it'll make a mother sell her baby.
Yeah.
So if she was willing to kill the person that's supplying her with it, she was done. She couldn't take
it anymore.
Because to me, I would need the heroin just to keep going, just to look at your bald ass.
Yeah.
It's not to be dope sick as well.
I'd have to be crazy out of my mind.
Completely gone.
Well, I think she did go out of her mind.
But I mean, with the drug to keep going. So I think that's what she's saying. Like I gotta keep.
Even through
self-medicated.
high, I can't
self-medicate
do this. Like this is enough.
I've self-medicated all that I can.
Yes,
and
that's
the
what she
trauma
said.
is
It's
still consistent.
coming through.
So now I have to
End it.
make it stop.
Go
Yes.
away.
And it's you.
Yeah.
Ta-ta.
It's either you or me.
That's a strong.
Yeah.
And,
To me, that's a strong
sorry,
woman.
nigga. You gotta go.
Yeah, that's what she said. She said, if it's my life or yours, you gotta go. That's what I'm saying.
And she's still willing. Again, like I said, that's pretty deep. If you're willing to risk the clan too, because
And she was educated, so Ruby's like, you know what? I'm just gonna take this risk.
very smart, very smart.
Oh, no, boy.
Hello,
Ruby.
Ruby. I know,
Yeah.
right?
True crime.
But I'm still trying to figure out was she really crazy though. I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, I'm
you done
crazy.
drove me crazy, but I ain't crazy.
But
Her
that
you know what I mean?
attorney actually put in that plea for insanity mostly because she was going crazy because when she was awaiting for the appeal in the second trial, that's when Mr. Frank had then put in the plea for insanity. And so they examined her and they said, okay, we're gonna put you over at Florida State Hospital, over in Chattahoochee.
Twice he put her in that hospital. One time was 12 and one time was 9 days. So, that's.
I think what happens sometimes is that in the onset, maybe Ruby wasn't crazy.
That's what I'm saying. I would play
Maybe
crazy.
she wasn't, but what
Crazy like a
white
mama
society
used to
did
say.
though is for men to control women. They created a diagnosis called hysteria.
All of a sudden, right?
Right?
First, but learn about tell what you learned down in Asheville.
Yeah.
About that insane asylum in Asheville. Remember you said
They had the first insane
Yeah,
asylum in
tell about
Asheville,
that.
North Carolina, where men would put women.
Tell
They'd put
me.
women.
You went on that tour.
Yeah, I went on a tour. And it was like they had.
That's where Quaaludes came
If you
from.
got overwhelmed, like in everyday life, being a mom, you're gonna see soon. Your baby crying, you got to get this done, you got to get that done, and you're just overwhelmed, right? And so you start complaining to your husband or your partner, and they call the doctor and say that something's wrong with her.
Right.
And fix her. And so they give you what they used to call nerve pills. Which were Quaaludes.
They were Quaaludes.
Oh my God. Then double.
Right. And then
that's when
if
they
you didn't
started
respond
the
to
raping.
that,
So then they realized, oh my God, it knocks her ass out.
Knocks her out.
And now I can have my way with it. I can get the SCX and not hear her fucking mouth. So give her some more. Bring me some more. Bring me some more.
Want some more of that
And
shit.
then it's Quaaludes, and then you got the fucking Playboy matching after that. And we all know what happened to them ladies.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
yeah, it was. So that's what I wonder. I wonder if she was like not being resistant, but had gotten to a place like, I'm sick
I've
of
had
this
enough.
bullshit with
Yeah.
you.
We're not doing this.
And he's like, well, you need to go to a
doctor.
hospital because you're suffering
losing
from
me.
anxiety.
Right.
And that's a way to control you and get you to get back in line.
I think you're right.
Because they're going to give you shock treatments or they're going to,
Right.
strap you to the bed and put you in a straitjacket.
Yeah.
And, okay, are you going to be good now? Are you going to
Yeah.
come back home and sit
'Cause I
here
can-
and
I can
do
admit
what
it
you're
you
supposed
again.
to
I
do?
can put you in
I
again.
can commit you again.
Right. And he did twice.
Yes.
First time was 12 days. The second time was 9.
Yeah. That I don't know if that's
God only
that's
knows
true,
what he was
but-
doing while she was away.
Right.
Hold on for everyone, mate.
Sam put that bitch at the lady. That's fucking fuck Sam, man. Sam would have been the first motherfucker to go. Telling you, where is Sam? Where are you?
I said I would have got Sam first and then I'd have got that motherfucker. Oh, excuse my language.
Everybody would have to go. Sam's going first because Sam is just watching it all happen.
You gonna lock me up?
We talking. I forgot.
Sam
I ain't had no
was
alcohol,
again.
nothing.
Sam was again.
he was like, you know what? I'm sick of her complaining about it
Actually,
too.
wait.
So let's just put her in there for a period of time, and ain't nobody got to hear her.
Wait.
That's fucked up.
It's fucked up, yeah.
Let's make a clarification.
Yes, right.
So, she wasn't admitted to Chattahoochee. She was admitted to Brewster.
That's when he was admitting her to those hospitals. But when they got her off for insanity, they put her in Chattahoochee.
Yes.
That was like, that's criminally insane.
Right. So basically, before she actually went insane,
Right before the murder.
But see, I don't.
during the whole stretch, this
that was a strategy
before the murder.
that the lawyer could
We're
use.
trying to play.
Right.
Yeah, Vagabond
For the appeal.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, that was strategy for her appeal, and it worked, but it got her up there in Chattahoochee. But with the original case, this was before she murdered Adam.
Right. He put her into the Brewster.
The Brewster
Adams
Hospital.
had been treating her for stress, and had
Caused by his ass.
Right. Anyway, he was all conspiracy.
He's the
and
one
when
that
Vagabond put her in Brewster.
he was evil.
Which is African American hospital in
Heart.
Jacksonville, which she was admitted a few times, both when Dr. Adams' son died and when Dr. Adams won a primary race of the state senate. It is unknown that these two events were the reason behind her additional admittances to Brewster.
But what is important, Rashid, is that he has sole control and determination of her mental stability.
Yeah, her mental
Right, because he's a
Right,
doctor as
right.
well.
Well,
What
because
happened?
he's the doctor in this thing. I don't think when she started being admitted wasn't nothing wrong with her.
Nope.
Come on, her sister talked about her being so very smart. She went to the top African American private school.
Right.
She excelled there, right? They wanted to control her and make her shut up and go away, right? So, okay, you're not complying. I'm going to give you some extreme punishment because what I took away is back in 1952, being a black woman, your life wasn't worth shit.
No,
Yeah.
you didn't have a say on what you did.
You were less than human.
You're lucky to be alive.
You were
Shut
less
up
human.
and accept
if they
it.
touched you or did whatever they did to you, oh well.
Yeah. Who's gonna believe
Yeah,
you anyway?
it was their right.
They had a right to do that.
Right. It's an interesting. I know. I read Zora Neale Hurston's "Their Eyes Are Watching God." Like I don't know, a billion years ago. You probably all read it too. But the documentary that I watched that you shared, which you guys is on Freevee. Is it called
I love Freevee.
It's all on Freevee. So go and check it out.
Yeah,
it's
it's on
called what's it called again? The name of the
You Belong
documentary.
to
You
Me?
Belong to Me. Yeah, You Belong to Me.
Belong to me. So basically, the title was telling you what was really going on. He's
Yeah, that's
basically
what
you
he's
belong
saying.
to
You
me,
belong
to her. Yeah. Yeah.
Regardless.
and your husband can't do shit about it.
Exactly. On top of that.
He really couldn't do shit about it.
Saying nothing
Your
about
protector cannot do anything about it. That's crazy.
it. Nothing about it.
Because that just
He
shows.
paid him $5,000 for his campaign.
I mean, that just shows how
Yeah,
much
because he was
power the white
the
man
payoff.
actually had back during that time, during the whole
Yeah,
Jim
but-
Crow.
That reminds me where I was going with the Zora Neale Hurston. There's in the intro, she quotes, the narrator quotes Zora Neale Hurston in Their Eyes Are Watching God. And to paraphrase, it says that the white man owns the whole world. I don't know if there's a place deep in the ocean that the black man owns, or she calls him the nigger man owns. But everything I see, the white man owns. And the white man beats down the nigger man, right? And gives him a load to carry. And then she says, which I think is powerful and relates to Ruby, but the nigger man never carries it. He gives it to the nigger woman to tote.
Yes, we do.
And she totes it for him.
Yes.
Because of that, I'm reading Their Eyes Are Watching God again.
Yeah.
Because that is that sums up
What's happening
Ruby's
here?
situation, right? He didn't tote that load. Sam didn't.
No, at all.
No, he was given the load.
Yeah.
He was given the load.
Yeah.
You're going to run these numbers and
'Cause
you're going to give
Sam
me
looked
a
at
cut
that
of that
baby.
money. But Ruby paid the price for it. She toted the load.
You can't tell me Sam didn't look at that baby and one thing and
Sorry.
Sam,
every
no,
morning
give
when
a
this
damn.
dude came by,
Sam, that's the thing. That's why
he ain't
Sam
got to wait for the baby.
Because where the hell are you when old boy's coming in?
I just couldn't even believe.
Right, and so Jordan Hurson.
That's crazy.
I would have got him first.
Yeah.
The trial for the
I'm gonna try to set them together. Boop, boop. 2 for 1.
But maybe she.
poison Sam
But then
and
again,
shoot
we
doctor.
like she said. Maybe she. I don't know. Maybe she was thinking about her kids. Like, what am I gonna do? Because I'm gonna be gone. So he gonna have to. I don't know. But I'd have got his ass first.
Yeah.
You'd have went for Sam.
I'd have cooked his food and put some damn poison and slowly watched him die. I would have shot him. I slowly
Yeah, I would have poisoned him. Yeah, I had some fun.
and watched him
with
reach
Sam.
to me for help. Yeah.
Shelly,
I'm just saying.
who are you?
You sold me out
That's
to
what he
a
did.
white man.
That's what he
on
did.
that. You sold me out to a white
And then
man.
just turn the other cheek.
Because
like
everybody
that.
benefited off my cookies.
Yeah.
I want to say something else.
Right.
But everybody benefited off of me.
But me.
This right here.
Yeah, everybody winning but me.
This is what's making all this shit go round.
In the first place. And no respect.
That's how you running for senator.
In the first place.
The money that we running through this, what is it called again? Belita.
Belita.
Is helping fund that campaign.
Right.
Belita and number running.
Jukebox.
Right, Lori.
So he had an empire. He had it going on.
Do we go back to the love of money?
Yes, I think it's hard to talk about this from Sam's perspective.
Right.
Without, right?
Without the love of money.
Because you know they could, because even the KKK couldn't mess with Sam.
Oh, he was untouchable.
He was
Yeah,
untouchable.
they couldn't touch
He was in the mix.
Dr. Adams wasn't
He
having
had
it.
his shield of
You
protection.
could not
Dr.
touch
Adams.
this family.
Right.
Period. Because he was getting his cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah, because think about it. 1952, you got the biggest house in the spot. You buy a brand new Chrysler. It's a bunch of white
had a new
folks
car
in that
every
town
year.
that
Every
don't
year.
have a new car every year.
Every year she had a new car.
Like the mean girl.
A new Chrysler every year.
So
Every year.
he had protection for them from the KKK.
Do you think he too was a sexual exploit?
It's
Sam?
possible. Because he would do whatever, I'm sure he would. It sound like he would do whatever the hell he say.
Right. That's, yeah.
You talking about demasculation of the black man? Right?
I mean, that could
That
have been.
Stranger Things.
Could have been.
We've all saw Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
I
They
don't know.
got off on that, like literally. Even some people I know they like watched it. They're just like think it's so exciting to
Watch.
balling. What do you call that? Ball and gag.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'd
Racism
have lost
was-
my mind too.
Yeah.
Lost my mind too. Some
What? Some of the I know, right? Well, we send out our condolences. I wrote to her because that's
To
probably
the
a legacy
McCullum
of pain,
family.
to the
Yeah.
heritage. Who you know?
The only one that's living is her older son.
And he won't talk to the press.
Press. Well, he did. He did. He just
He
said.
did? What did he say?
He just said that. You know, I don't know. I think he had my mother drugged. You know. You know,
Which, the heroin.
Which was, yeah, right.
because that house looked like shit now. Because he was standing in front of it. You got to watch it. But he was just saying, I don't know. I wasn't here. Because they
Right,
kept
he was in
asking him
school.
questions like, what do you think about Sam or whatever. He was like, I don't know. I wasn't here.
Right.
Because he was in school.
Yeah, trying to get his schooling.
Right, so it's like, of course he's not gonna know because like he wasn't there.
He wasn't
when it all
around.
Went down like UCLA.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like out of the two, she definitely hated
And
McCullum the
Loretta
most.
would not talk on the documentary. She declined
Who's
to be.
Loretta?
Loretta's the baby.
Oh, the daughter.
Yeah, the two daughters in the middle died, have passed, but Loretta is still living, and she declined to talk, which I don't blame her. Like but I thought that was a trip that she was held up at the courthouse, and the judge was like, "Do not look up there. Do not take this into consideration."
Of course, because he's a
Right.
part of the Klan too.
Right, all of them.
which
They
side?
all
that
and they
way.
said, and you know what? I really and truly believe this, but it was said that trial was to save the reputation of Dr. Adams. That's really what they wanted that trial
course,
for,
when it was
was to
all-
save his reputation. That's why they wouldn't let Ruby talk.
When it's an all-white trial, it was already a foregone conclusion that like, oh yeah, fucking mama, we're gonna execute this Negro. We're gonna execute her,
Wow.
which is typical white people's
I wondered.
thing to do. But thankfully, the Supreme Court actually interjected and said, "This is not right.
She's criminally insane.
The fact that we're gonna throw this out the window. We're gonna go for a second trial." That's when the lawyer came in and said, "Plead for sanity," and it worked.
And she kept her sanity even being in that criminally insane place for 30 years. I think it was 30 years.
That is a sentence, though, now, isn't it?
For the 30
What's the dip? That's just, it's probably worse.
She was there for 30 years.
That's a sentence.
That
That's
was the.
Yeah.
That's a
Wait,
sentence.
hold on. I thought she was there from 1954 to
She's in
1970.
asylum as opposed to the freaking
79. But it was from 54, I think, to 79.
Okay, so that's 25 years.
And then she was out 18 years before she died.
Right.
That's beautiful.
So that's what I'm saying. God.
Yeah,
But God.
nothing exactly. There you go. But God.
But God.
But luckily she was around those that actually loved and cared about cared for her. So
Her kids and her sister was still living when they did the documentary.
Yeah, I saw her sister in the documentary.
Yeah. Those are wild.
Wow. True crime.
Oh, that's a
I
true
never
crime.
whip it up.
That is.
But you know, you always look at what's justified and what's not. But I think when you think of justification, what's justifiable in your heart?
Yeah.
So, you know,
Right.
Ruby couldn't take it anymore.
I know.
okay.
Miss Shelley, I think you had another story too that you should. Or no, yes.
Yes, I do. I didn't know if you guys had any that you wanted to share, but I don't know if you heard about the girl named Jessica that was
No.
set on fire
What?
What? Who was set on fire?
Hold on,
in
wait.
Mississippi.
Girl, the
Chili
South.
C,
That's what I'm
what?
saying.
She's a little white girl
In a car. In a car.
in the car.
Black boy.
Fire.
They blaming it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, they putting it on the
They're
black
putting
What's
it
her
on
name again?
Jessica.
put it on a black man?
The guy.
Of course.
Hold
Who
on.
else they gonna put it
Justice
on?
for Jessica.
Justice
I
for
know, I
Jessica.
swear.
And they trying to blame it on what's his name?
This was damn near the other day. This wasn't even too
Quentin.
long
They're trying to
ago.
blame it on Quentin.
Tarantino.
But see,
Of course.
no, not
Little
Tarantino.
black Quentin.
Little
Oh,
black-
Quentin Tillis?
Quentin Tillis.
Quentin Tillis.
Okay. Okay, let me actually give
So
He's
Jessica,
pulling
but
up the
see
receipts.
Jessica. Let me give you a little backstory about Jessica.
Okay.
Jessica liked the little black boys.
She liked the black boys.
That's
It's Quentin
just-
Black.
Of course she wanted her Mandingo.
And her,
Exactly. Come on now. Don't they all?
And her
They wanna
daddy,
act surprised.
did not like that. He don't think people supposed to mix.
Oh.
That's exactly
What
what
y'all?
he said.
Is that what he called it?
This damn-headed pappy. What did he say?
He
What's his name?
said
Who's the
that-
pappy?
Chocolate babies.
Chocolate
Uh-huh.
He said it on the interview. He think everybody should stick to their own kind.
Okay.
My grandma used to
So-
say
Is that what her dad
Just
said?
stick with your own kind.
Yes.
For real.
Okay. So December 6, 2014, a 19-year-old teenager was found walking down the side of Mississippi Road engulfed in flames. She died the next day at a Memphis hospital. 5 years, 2 mistrials, and multiple documentaries and TV specials later. Justice for Jessica has yet to be realized. Jessica Chambers' death quickly captured
Chambers is her name.
Chambers'
Okay.
death quickly captured the nation.
Someone named Eric.
The teenager reportedly told first responders someone named Eric was responsible, but law enforcement found no such connection. Authorities eventually arrested Quentin Tillis, a friend of Chambers. Tillis was tried in Mississippi not once, but twice. But both trials resulted in mistrial. Meanwhile, Tillis was arrested in Louisiana and charged with murder of the July 2015 death of Ming Chen.
Who is me?
Now, a recent graduate of the University of Louisiana Monroe.
Quentin is up. Quentin need to stop mixing around. Look at Quentin ass.
What are you doing, Quentin?
Right.
Come on, bro.
I'm gonna tell you
Not
what.
with the big nose too.
Yeah,
I'm
with
telling
the
you.
big ass
This will
nose.
tell you what I think. I think
Oh.
Quentin was getting cookies and weed. That's what Quentin was
Quentin
getting.
was mixing.
He was an equal
And
love
Jessica
That's exactly what he was.
liked
He said,
black
"I don't see color."
boys.
That's
She
what
liked
he
black
said.
men. Jessica did.
But who
Why
set
did y'all
Jessica
set
on fire?
That's what they're trying to figure out.
out.
They said it's Quentin because
Why
Quentin,
would Quentin set her on fire?
That's
But Jessica
exactly-
said it was Eric. Who's Eric?
exactly, but they said that Eric sounds like Quentin.
That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
How do you say
Eric sounds just like
No,
Quentin.
she was so burned.
How?
She was burned over 93% of her body with 2 to 3 2 degrees.
Third degree burn. Second degree.
You know what I'm trying to say?
And third degree
Second
burns.
and third degree on 93% of her body. Her mouth was singed when she tried to talk. Her mouth was singed.
She even make it.
That's what they said, that she couldn't even, that when she was walking down
She's just walking
the street.
on flames.
Yeah, she was
the
engulfed in flames. She was
paramedics
a living
were in
skeleton.
tears. The paramedics were in tears. One paramedic never went back to work
He
after
was
Jessica.
traumatized. Just said, I can't. This
They
day was
set her
enough.
on fire.
I mean, when
but
you're a walking
Jessica
fire
was.
stunt,
They
that is-
think Jessica was selling weed.
Jessica was into some things. Oh, Jessica.
Oh my
I know.
God.
She just walking in flames.
And then she's in rural Mississippi.
She
Lord.
stopped dropping road, Jessica.
Okay.
And
so-
all because he sent a text to her the night she died. He sent a text, or the day that she got burned.
What did he say?
What
in
Quentin
the
ass
text?
say?
He wanted to get some cookies. He was trying to give it
He was trying to hook up with Jessica.
When? No, I'm not even gonna
See?
say
Well,
that.
learn. They won't ever.
Okay.
Quentin ass. I'm
so-
done.
I
Quentin
think
looks
he's
a little
a scapegoat.
sus. Yeah, you think
Yeah,
he's a
he's a-
scapegoat? He's
I
giving
really
sus.
think. If you watch the documentary, you're gonna be like, that
I
some of
don't know
this don't
about
sound
Quentin.
right.
Something's not adding
Why
up.
would he set her on fire?
Exactly. If he's trying to get some cookies.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
you can't get any.
But they said that they think because she wouldn't give him any cookies. I'm like, really? Come on.
Right.
Jessica was giving it up.
linking Right, Jessica was trying to link.
Right. Okay.
Oh, I feel so bad for Jessica.
Me too,
So
Jesus.
District Attorney
It
John
was bad. Her
Captain said in
mother
November
had
that
just held her hand and told her she could go.
Yeah,
she was
she
bringing
gotta
bomb.
go.
I mean, this could have easily been one of her family.
She
that-
was singed so
that-
That
bad.
hated that she was hooking up with the black, so they was like, you know what, I'm gonna just burn your ass.
Right. I think that's what happened. And blamed it on
And
think
blame-
her
and blame
family
it on
burned her
Quentin.
up?
because they knew her and Quentin was
Was
gonna
already in cahoots.
DNA is gonna be there.
Yeah. So they're like, let's just make him take the rap, but we're gonna kill your ass for trying to link up with the blackies. That's what it was an inside job. It was an inside job. What do you think?
But the trial,
I'm devastated.
the trial,
Quentin
of
burned
course.
her up, Lori. Oh my god.
But the trial, of course, there was separation because the white people were
Of
saying
course.
it was Quentin, and then the black people were like, "Oh, you just want to blame it on the black
man.
Right.
And then some of them were saying, somebody's got to pay, and if somebody's gonna pay for this, it's got to be a black man.
Yeah, right. We just gonna deflect and just point everybody
because
look
he
over
had
there.
2 mistrials, right?
Right.
Right.
Yep, but the messed up part for him is that he may have been given a bond, but he can't get out.
What that mean?
If he actually makes bond down in Louisiana, he will be
Mississippi.
brought to the Department of Correction in Mississippi. So basically, he has a bond in Louisiana for the other.
Right.
Girl.
For me,
Yeah.
Now Ming was she
Now-
wasn't set on fire, was she?
No,
but
Ming-
she was murdered.
She was murdered, but I'm
murdered.
a little. I question Ming a
Murder?
little bit.
murder. Who? Quentin is linked to too many crazy
I-
things.
yeah. Come
I'm
on
questioning
now.
the Ming.
Why are people dying and being set on fire when Quentin's
And
around?
then, exactly. Every time Quentin comes to town, somebody
Somebody
died.
Y'all gotta watch the documentary. Now that we talking about it, we gotta come back and we gotta put this back on the table. But y'all have to watch
What?
the whole
Gotta go
thing
home and do my
because a
homework,
lot of
'cause I'm
the
trying to figure it
evidence is circumstantial with her. Now with Ming, he might have got Ming Lee. What's her name?
Ming Chen.
Ming Chen.
Yeah, let's get her name.
Ming Chen.
Ming
Ming
Chen.
Shelly,
How?
I don't know.
Ming
I don't
Chen.
know.
You gotta
Okay.
watch it.
We go to character. We go to character, right?
Let's look at. I'm gonna look Quentin ass up. Quentin, tell us what is he up to?
You have to
I don't
remain
know. That's-
neutral,
that-
Lori,
I don't know.
until
I don't
you
know about
watch.
Quentin
Until you
Tellis.
watch
He killed
and hear the
Ming.
evidence. You gotta
Was he
hear the evidence.
convicted of killing me?
Oh no.
Quentin
What's
is
his
suspect.
name?
Quentin Tellis.
Yeah, Quentin Tellis.
I don't even know about that
Everything
name.
is circumstantial, pretty much.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, Quentin Tellis. Where is he now?
He's currently in custody at the.
He's serving a
Clark
burglary sentence in Mississippi. See?
Come on now.
Fucking
Come
Quentin.
on now,
But
Quentin.
just because
Come
you're a
on,
burglar, that
Quentin.
don't mean you kill people.
I mean,
She said, I mean.
he's questionable.
right there.
Shelly
been showing the other side.
Okay, so yeah, so yeah, this was updated back in 2020, in which
He
he
had
was
possession of marijuana.
being held
Quentin is
in
always
the
in some
Quachita
shit.
Correctional Center. In
I don't know.
Quachita,
I don't
Paris.
know.
But so with
Quentin.
Jessica, they said Jessica was dealing it. They think Jessica was
Here's this
dealing it.
nigga right here. He's
See, look at
34.
him. See? Look at him.
What do you look like?
Suspect.
He looks suspect.
He did it.
He did right.
No, I'm just teasing y'all. I'm just teasing.
Judge
Well, he's
dismisses
34
Quentin
now.
His sisters and his mama say he didn't do it.
Of course, I would say
Of
that
course
too.
they're gonna say he didn't do it.
Tellis. Right. Of course, the mom and the sister. They don't
Now
want him
he's
to do it.
serving burglary now.
I told you.
You know, this is like got an OJ flavor to me.
Yeah, it's giving.
Go sit your butt down. If you got off
Go sit down and get out of the limelight.
twice,
But why was there a
he wasn't
mistrial?
convicted
Yeah.
of killing
Lil Ming.
Ming Chung Lee.
Exactly. They wouldn't have been. They
He
wouldn't have
wasn't
done that.
convicted of that.
But then they did get his ass for burglary. They got his ass for burglary.
Okay, so
I don't know. Why don't you sit there?
Trial delayed for killing Taiwanese woman. Quentin is now scheduled.
yeah,
Quentin.
I'm not talking to Lori tonight.
Okay, so they said they're gonna do a trial for that.
Why didn't they do a trial for Ming Chen?
That's what I'm saying. Everything is circumstantial. There's
With
no-
Ming too?
Yeah, exactly, Lori.
If everywhere it goes smell like murder,
Yeah, maybe
it's you. Maybe it's Quentin stinking.
Maybe Quentin
Lori
smells
you
like
are the
damn
Green
carpet.
River Killer.
Lori, sometimes trouble just follows you.
No,
it don't
no,
necessarily
no,
mean
no.
that you.
So he always in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Sometimes, if every time you show up, somebody die,
It's maybe about you.
maybe it's you.
But he has an ironclad alibi.
Time and time again.
I don't know, my brother.
Well, why did it? Why? Okay, so why was there a mistrial twice then?
That's what I'm saying. It had to be something.
I don't
Well,
know
it's
about
not
that.
what you know.
It's
It's
who.
what you can prove.
Yeah, come on.
And
Right.
they just couldn't prove it.
They couldn't prove that.
So
like,
the
he was acting
prosecutors
in a
didn't
crime.
bring in a strong enough.
They could only prove back on what that his DNA was inside of her because of obvious
They
reasons.
hook up.
And he
Yeah.
had two hell of attorneys. Both his
That's-
attorneys were
that's
black.
it.
He had two hell of attorneys.
And it's
Quentin.
And they said Eric. How does Eric sound like Quentin?
It
Right.
doesn't.
it doesn't.
The C? They ain't even C. It's a Q. I'm trying to figure it out
Eric
myself.
and Quentin.
See.
She said Eric and then the daddy's talking about it. She said Quentin. That's not what happened.
See,
They, right?
See, that's that racism right there.
It absolutely
That's that
is.
racism right there.
That is-
Eric sound like Quentin.
Eric sounds.
Yeah, they had.
But
Yeah.
they said Jessica's
like
mouth
Quentin.
was so burned because when she was screaming and the
Inhale it.
they said her mouth was so burned that maybe that's why you couldn't hear Quentin. You heard Eric.
Oh, shut up. That
what
I
I
don't
said.
believe that.
Come on.
That's what they said.
Come
They-
on now.
they
Back
trying
up,
to
but
really
give
just-
her a piece of
They
paper.
had a hung
Tell her
jury.
to write the name of the person who did this. She'll say Eric.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
And then they're gonna say.
Because you
I think
have
she
to
said
prove
Quentin.
within a reasonable doubt, right, Lori?
Yes,
they do.
yes.
So it's like
You know, Quentin is very suspect.
All
Quentin
you
looks
need is
sus.
one.
He's got
Yeah.
like a
All
lot
you
of
need is
things.
one.
He's got like,
Marijuana possession. He's burglary. Come on.
But Jessica liked to
Was it,
smoke
so
weed.
was it circumstantial? Did we catch him in possession?
He did 10 years. He
he's
did
not-
10
You
years.
may have done
clean.
10 years, but did he have possession?
He's not squeaky clean here.
No, but that don't mean you burn somebody up and kill them. though.
Him not
That's
being
true.
speak
Because
between
what is
things.
No,
because
mean
what
that.
is
He's
his
still
reason for
But
burning
one
her
crime doesn't
up?
equate
That's
to
Shelly
the
in the probing question.
Right.
Maybe, sometimes I hear if these drug deals go bad, you could get burned up.
Sometimes they want
That's
this
what they
evidence to
think.
go
That's
away.
what
Drug
they're
deal
saying.
gone wrong.
It's a
That's
drug-
what
could
they're
be
The
a
drug
semen?
deal gone wrong.
People think
With
that
their semen?
one of the theories was that Jessica was dealing,
Mm.
and she probably owed somebody some money.
So they got her. But what about Ming Chen?
But they usually
She might
take
have been
the-
like
You think she was a
smoking her
strawberry?
own stuff, huh?
You think she was a strawberry?
What exactly is that?
I think she.
Is that a crackhead?
I don't. Strawberries with cocaine. I think she did
See,
a few
Ming
things
Chen
to
was
get her
brutal.
That's
some
what I'm
weed
saying. That's what
and
I'm
some
saying.
Taco Bell.
He
Right.
tortured?
They said that.
Yeah, brutal torture.
Yeah.
Quentin.
Who did he torture?
Brutally,
Ming Lee.
supposedly, but it's alleged. But it's still brutal torture. Brutal. Why it's so brutal?
Brutal torture.
And then little Jessica was on flames.
That's brutal too.
So
I'm gonna
But
tell y'all.
why?
Hold on,
I'm
I got
starting
a
to
true
see a
story
pattern.
interjection.
But why is he a serial killer's after 3? He only had 2.
Okay,
So, well, why was he?
That's because
doing
they put him in jail for 10 years.
it? Okay.
Right. Okay. So the data.
He would
grid
kill somebody
doesn't
else?
sound-
yeah,
I'm kidding. I don't mean that. I'm just kidding.
we're just saying, hey, we
So
gotta
something tells me
think about it all.
that like back in 2022, which is when the trial is supposed to begin for Ming Chen Hao.
It's Hal, not Lee.
August.
Ming Chen.
Yeah. It's
Are
Ming
you
Chen Hao.
trying to leave?
August 29th. Trial was scheduled to mark the 5th of August 1st when Tellis' attorney attempts to discredit a key piece of evidence in the case because it was a 2015 stabbing death of Ming Chen Hao. According to court documents, Tellis' attorney waived his right to a standard jury trial and instead will try the case in front of a judge. Assistant District Attorney Holly Chambers Jones is serving as lead prosecutor in this case. case.
How old was Jessica? Because she's young. So he's always these young girls randomly
she was
tortured.
19.
Oh, she's a graduate from University of
She was
Louisiana
19.
Monroe.
So Jessica was 19. Ming Chen couldn't have been more than 20 to 22.
All right.
It's just like the age ranges, the brutality of the murder, how it's all going down.
The reason why they caught him, I think he was using Ming Chen. What's her name?
Ming Chen.
Ming Chen
Ming Chen Hao, yeah.
Credit cards. But if they were stolen, but if they were stolen, you know how they people steal credit cards all the time. And they be like, hey, I got some credit cards. You could,
You want to get them off me, or you want to
Right.
max them
Right.
out and then act like nothing?
Right. Plus,
You know what
like,
I'm saying?
we've had many cases where literally valuables and money was stolen off of a dead man.
That happens often. But who? I don't know. Quentin was just too close by every time one of these things went down.
Yeah.
It just helped. It
He's
just
very
happened
I just think
that like, that
Florida
was the
followed
second
him.
time that like he's
I
been
don't
caught
know,
up in a
because
murder.
he-
Caught up in a twist with a murder.
I think he
twist.
just got caught up.
You think he got caught up
Right,
twice?
he just got caught up twice.
Just twice.
Maybe he got caught up 2 times.
Right,
That's what
and-
he's saying.
I think he got caught up. What you
I don't
think,
know.
Becky?
I don't think Quentin set her on fire. I'm going to take a stand there.
I don't think he set her on fire.
Yeah, so the trial was delayed in February when Intel's attorney hired an expert to determine where his phone was at the time of Sal's murder. 2 times on the night of her death, Sal's phone dialed the Chase bank number on the back of her debit card and hung up before the call was answered. At 8:16 and 8:18 p.m., Tells' phone dialed the same number and the debit card and PIN number were entered. Tells was sentenced to 10 years as a habitual offender and was taken to Mississippi to
Because
be
he's
tried
habitual over the line.
on a
Stepper.
capital murder charge in December 2015 death of 19-year-old Jessica Chambers in Panola County. Who was for tried twice in Mississippi, but missed
But he didn't
trial
go. He didn't get convicted for.
in 2017 and 2018.
Neither one of
For
them.
Ming or Jessica, but he's in there for a habitual offender.
I
And
think he
so
knows some shady
after
people. I
that,
think.
he
Maybe
was
he
sent back
knows.
to Louisiana. So basically, after the second mistrial in 2018, the district attorney of Mississippi said, "Yeah, we can't do a third trial. We're just gonna send it back
Where he came from.
to Louisiana."
Go back. I don't know. Quentin.
Wow. I don't
You
know.
need to sit and think because.
Are you able to get some footage from the trial a little bit? No?
Go
For
images.
the Quentin Tellis, I'll probably have to play the audio over here. But
I'm
then,
just wondering if you, because yeah, I don't know.
okay, let me see.
They would get high and do, get a little something, and then they
Jessica
go their different ways.
Chambers.
And Jessica was okay with that. She liked black boys.
Okay, so
I just don't think that's enough for me to burn her up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Alright, where did it go
What
wrong?
reason? Especially he wanted to keep getting some more cookies and some more weed.
Right. He wanted to keep it going.
Alright, so
He calling her up saying, "Let me get some of that." She like, okay. Why?
But she was a drug dealer, or that's alleged.
Is that
They
right?
alleged. People think that's another theory that most of the black people have.
Right.
That she was dealing, and she probably owed somebody some money, and they,
okay, so
Poor
which
Jessica.
one do we
That's
want to
just
go? You want to
horrible.
go with this one? Who killed Jessica Chambers?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we'll go with who killed Jessica Chambers.
Oh, they not showing the trial.
They're not showing the trial specifically, but they here are the other videos that are on.
There are some people who clearly. That's where I watched it. I watched it on
The
Oxygen.
unspeakable crime. You gonna watch that?
You gotta watch it on Oxygen. Oxygen is everything.
Okay.
It gets real deep. into
Okay,
it.
gets into it.
Okay. So I'll pull up the oxygen footage. and
Unspeakable crime. Poor the
and-
killing of Jessica Chambers.
ladies and gentlemen, the unspeakable. Actually, wait. Let me meet that. The unspeakable crime, the killing of Jessica Pop.
3 or 4 other firefighters were sitting at our station, and we was getting ready to leave, go home, and the call come out. They set a car in a field on fire. One of them got across on the radio and said, "Hey, we need a deputy out here. There's a girl out here that's been burned, standing in the road naked."
According to investigators, 19-year-old Jessica Chambers was inside her car when someone lit it on fire, but somehow, though injured, she miraculously got out of it. It was Saturday night, December 6, 2014, and her car was parked just off a rural road in Cortland, Mississippi. 2 men driving by saw the fire and called it in just after 8 p.m. Eddie Eidson, a volunteer firefighter at the time, was one of the first responders.
We pulled up, and I remember the heat coming off the truck. We started rendering medical aid for Jessica, and I remember looking down, and she was laid on her side, and they had this old army blanket covering. I mean, the only thing she had on was a pair of panties. Just seeing her laying on that ground, that piece of skin. Every time she breathed, go in and out her nose. Ain't a damn thing you can do about it. The burn spots were red. Looked like, in some places, maybe looked like somebody had smeared charcoal on her. She wasn't complaining about pain or nothing. You know, she was shaking. Somebody asked her, was she cold or something? And I seemed like she nodded her head. You know, she wasn't real talkative. And then firefighter, Brandy Davis, was kind of back over toward her feet. And he said, well, hon, who done this to you? She kind of just looked up, turned her head just a little bit, and plain as day, she said Eric did this. She didn't call no last name. You know, she said Eric did this. We was all kind of stunned. I thought whoever did this may still be out there. Seeing her the way she was, and then still alive, and I don't wish this on my worst enemy. The ambulance had pulled up, unloaded the stretcher, and they loaded her up on it, and that was the last I seen of her.
Jessica would live only about 6 hours after those first responders arrived. She had 2nd and 3rd degree burns over 93% of her body. Her mother, Lisa, was with her in her final moments.
I held her hand as she took her last breath and told her it was okay. She could go. To quit fighting, and that Mama and Daddy were there. Of course, told her Daddy was a big old baby. He couldn't come in there. She knew that. There's nothing any worse than to tell your child they can go. You just have no idea the pain and guilt I feel for telling her she can go. But I know I couldn't have kept her here. There was no way.
The story of Jessica's horrific death went viral not just in Mississippi, but around the country. The question everyone was asking, who did this to Jessica and why? I'm your host, Beth Karras, and this is Unspeakable Crime, the Killing of Jessica Chambers.
Oh my goodness gracious, oh boy, would it spook you?
Where
No,
are you
it's
right
just
now
so-
psychologically?
it's
so horrible.
It is.
It's just horrible.
I hate to. That's all.
What are your thoughts, Chantel?
I just can't even believe it. That's whoever Eric is, and he might still be out there. That's
Like
so
they
messed
said,
up.
and then how did they get Quentin out of Eric?
Because she was last with
That was
he
the last,
texted her.
okay.
He was trying to get some cookies, so they got high, went to Taco Bell, and messed around.
I don't know. I might have to go for the neighborhood, the neighborhood thing that maybe she was slanging or selling something, and she was late on a payment, and they burned her car up.
That sounds like a drug deal punishment to me.
Right.
Right.
Not because, or even if she had told Quentin, I'm not gonna give you no cookies tonight.
Right.
Even if he'd have done anything to call to burn you, because I'm not gonna give you no cookies.
Right.
You don't burn people.
Right. You don't burn people for that.
Right,
Yeah.
and it's like,
That sounds like
there anything-
you owe me some money.
Something that I'm gonna get you.
was there anything in her car like a Molotov cocktail?
I think they
Because-
poured.
Rashida's like, how is the whole car on fire?
The person, this is how cruel it was. The person poured gasoline on her and set her on fire.
Oh,
Yeah, they
oh yeah,
had
that
to-
sounds
yeah.
like a straight up freaking bad drug deal.
That's what I'm
Some
saying.
gangster.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
I know.
mafioso.
That's what I'm saying. I know Quentin
my
is bad.
godfather.
I know
Yeah.
Quentin did some bad stuff, but to me, just what if even if she did say no, like
He's going around burning people up.
I don't even think you would think. Okay, you told me no, I'm gonna burn you. Like I don't. Yeah, I don't. That don't.
go together. That
don't match.
That
don't
right?
match.
Yeah.
That don't match.
That don't match his quote unquote character.
Yeah,
Right.
he'll steal. And he'll still hold a little weed, but he's not burning people up.
Right.
Okay.
That's what I think.
I don't think you're burning people up.
Right.
True. Shelly, where do you find these things?
Girl, I be watching. Girl, I be sitting up there watching true crimes, and then I was like, when I turned this, I was like, oh my god, I'm okay emotionally now, but the first time I saw this, I was like,
yeah,
Too much.
this
Some
is
things-
too much. Too much.
Okay.
Have you heard of Rex Heuermann,
The architect.
the architect from Long Island?
What do he do? Right. What do you do?
He is a cold case file, and he was a serial killer.
Of course.
And they just arrested him a couple days ago.
They got him.
I heard about
They
him.
broke out of prison. Not him.
No, they never knew who had killed these 4 women. It's called the
Weren't they sex
the Gilgo
workers?
Beach murders.
Yeah, Gilgo Beach murders.
Yeah.
What? 14 hours.
They were
just got
sex workers. They just got him. They got him. You know, if the police want you,
They're
they'll
gonna
get
get
you. They were using surveillance on him,
Okay.
and he ate a piece of pizza, and he threw away the
piece.
part he didn't eat. They collected that pizza, got his DNA,
and matched it to these murders.
and matched it to
All 4 of the girls.
all 4 of those girls, and they say there could be more. But he was a prominent guy in
An
New York
architect.
and Long Island,
Okay.
just living amongst the people,
acting like nothing.
acting like nothing.
And see, that's what I'm saying. They be trying to get the Quintons when it be them motherfuckers.
It'd be the
You know what I
Rexes.
mean?
Right.
saying.
But-
The Rex.
The one that,
That just
wear a suit.
hiding in plain sight.
Right.
Yes, hiding
Back
in
up.
Promoting all the women at work, all the black women at work.
He's
you know.
the prime example of you've watched American Psycho with Christian Bale, just
Yeah.
the suit and everything.
Yeah, clean cut, always looking like the nice guy, but really you crazy.
Yeah.
You're psycho.
But you know,
Right.
with the serial killers, there's always a little bit of narcissism.
yeah, there's a narcissistic quality of them about
Right.
themselves.
And plus,
So
he
they
was-
do stuff and say, I'm not going to get caught.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
what they think.
Yeah.
Right.
And they
plus-
didn't for 13 years. He
Years.
didn't.
Sheesh.
Right. And plus,
They never
like,
caught the Zodiac killer.
Right.
No?
And
He
plus,
was a
the-
cold
the-
piece. Did
the-
you see that stuff the other day? I had to turn it. You know, I'm a cold G when it come to this. I was like, this motherfucker got me tripping. I'm like, shit, he might well go back.
He was called the Zodiac Killer? He was doing crazy stuff?
He was intense. His brain
He was
was a
on
whole
it.
nother world, huh,
Um,
Shelley? He was smart as
Now
fuck.
that's what I'm saying.
That motherfucker's
Usually
smart
they're
as fuck.
smart.
when you have like
Clever at a whole new level.
pictures of your victims in zodiac signs.
That's what he was doing?
It was what?
But let's talk about that DNA, and not just DNA, ladies and gentlemen, but the mitochondrial.
That's what they
D.
used here.
Exactly, because I don't know if
I
this
don't know
is
the
the same
difference.
dude.
That's the brain.
But that is the word I heard,
There's
the
this
mitochondrial.
mitochondrial DNA, but they're similarly, Lori.
I didn't know the
And
difference.
I just saw this Shelley on Investigation Discovery. Now I don't know if it's the same cat, but this for over 30 years. This is in LA. This is in LA.
This guy's in
This
Long Island.
man had been killing women since the 70s.
Like the Zodiac killer.
Yeah. I know
Bodies
this.
was coming. You know what I'm talking about? Bodies was coming up
Yeah.
missing all over LA, all over LA for years.
for years.
For years, and then for a while, it stopped for a while. It died down, but then it started surging back. The same kind of murder started coming back. Like it ain't the same dude, but like in the 90s, 2000, and then the murder started happening again. And you know, like you were saying, details about the crime that were never leaked to the public. Those same type of instances were happening with these black ladies. Oh, of course, they're getting us. These black women body girl. This cat is in LA. Like you, Lord, they couldn't figure out shit. They couldn't figure out anything. But then, and he right in the hood, y'all. He was right there in the hood.
I'm going to trip you out
Black
after
woman,
you
you know what I'm
finish.
talking about? And she thought somebody. He came up to her. He had already tried to attack her in a Pinto. He came up to her in a Pinto, and he tried to lure her in the car. She got in the car with him, and then she kind of realized, oh, this motherfucker's up to some weird shit. So she was able to jump out the fucking car, and she got away, and she told her story. So that's how they kind of
Started
put
picking
things
it up.
together. Like, wait a minute, this sounds like the crimes that used to happen. Yeah, but they like, I think these crimes used to happen before. What's going on? The motherfucker came up to her one day. She was in her front yard, y'all. You remember? You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
This
He
is
walked up to
he
her.
walked up to her and
She
looked
looked
at her
at her.
like, and he he just looked her, checked her all up and down, and she like, what the fuck? Is that the motherfucker that was just in that pencil not too long ago? Check this out, just what you said. So then she told him. And that's, remember she told her, now LAPD is like, okay, we back on the case now. We back on the case. And they kind of was wondering, and remember they got, I cannot remember how they got to Shelly's crib, if you will. Exactly what you said, Lori. Then they started following him and following him and following him because of that woman's tip. Because she was like, something ain't right.
He walked right past her. That's
And looked her.
crazy shit.
Walked right
Acting
past
like
her
nothing.
and her house. So now he know where I
She
live.
lives.
Right.
Yes, yeah.
Scary.
That's
This
I'd
mother
pack my
sucker
shit,
went
I'd
to
write
his
it in there.
grandson's birthday party
Acting like
at
nothing.
Chuck E. motherfucking Cheese, and the po-pos washed his ass. And,
he ate some
this
pizza.
nigga ate some pizza.
pizza.
Pizza,
get your
he
ass.
ate that pizza, and then
love
what
pizza.
the cops, the wasn't the feds, but the cops went in there undercover
I
like they
remember
was
this
working like they was bus boys and shit. So they in there, you know how we had them parties at the pizza joint, so
And they
they
picked
just
up-
put in the
and they
trash
picked up all-
and all the pizza, the paper, everything that motherfucker touched. But what it got mitochondrial DNA on that piece of Chuck E. Cheese, it was the cheese that helped them save the DNA. Because
Right.
the cheese, you know, don't. It was the cheese that got
Deserved
it.
it.
And they came and got him. And then when they just came and got him. He was a black dude. Black dude.
He was out
The
there.
Zodiac
He
killer
worked
was
for.
black.
I want to say he worked for
No, this is not the Zodiac
for the
killer.
post office, if I'm not mistaken. But he was a city worker. The man worked for the city.
worker.
He was
He's
a
a
city
common
worker.
man.
And girl, when they went and raided his house and they pulled back the lining in the
I
like
saw
the
this.
panel in the
It was
garage,
LA.
and all them pictures. Did you see all
the
the
pictures.
Polaroids? About hundreds and hundreds.
Because he would
and
take
hundreds
pictures of them
of black
before
girls.
he killed them. He would handcuff. He would take pictures of them before he killed them, or when they was tied up, or when they were in compromising position. He'd take a picture.
It
Before
was
he-
like 20,
Wait,
30 of
hold
these
on.
women, y'all.
Is this him with the New
know
York
what?
Yankee hat?
There's so many of them, right? It's the same.
No, that's the Rex Hewerman
No.
girl.
man. He's
you
got the
imagine?
striped shirt on.
Okay, that's him.
That's
But
the guy
that's the
from
good
Long
part because
Island.
I remember in school they would tell us the best way, because one of my teachers was the federal agent who took down the Sonny Barger gang, which is the Hells Angels, and he taught us the best way to find out what's going on inside of a house is to see what they throw out of the house.
out of the house.
So you have to be very careful what you put in your trash, which is nothing. Shred that shit, and the shit you shred, take it some motherfucking
Some
way, it's a
other
whole
place.
other county, or burn the shit in a whole
Burn it
other
up.
county. I know.
But you know that person that you were talking
You know,
about?
that's the mother sucker that knew Phyllis.
That's
I thought it was. I knew it. It was a something
And God
killer.
is
And I
good,
said,
'cause
that's
she
the guy Lori
dated
told me
him.
about. Yes.
She dated him.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, because you was like, that's it. It was the something. What's the name of it, Lori?
She couldn't believe it. She saw the
He was
report.
like the Hillside Stranger or the Blue
He
Sea
had a
Killer.
name.
Yeah.
But on your
Damn
side
it.
of town.
Yes.
On your
Shelley.
side of
She
town.
was over
He-
by
like,
she
it was
did-
like
she
Normandy
lived next
or
door,
something,
never
or,
said
yes,
it. I mean,
it was on the west
yeah,
side.
Lori's Phyllis.
My Phyllis.
She used to date this guy.
She
He was
dated
a
this
creeper.
guy.
He was the killer.
He
It
was
the
the serial
He
killer.
was called the
God.
Grim Reaper.
The
The
Grim
Grim
Reaper,
Sleeper.
or
The
something
Grim
like that.
Sleeper. That was his
Because
name.
he would take
The
pictures
Grim
of
Sleeper.
them
After
The Grim Sleeper
while
in
he was
LA.
sleeping with and then kill him.
Yeah, this sucker was
While
killing
he
people
had
in
them
LA.
like
Black
handcuffed or
dude.
whatever,
He
he had to take a
He was
picture.
a granddaddy. He been doing that shit for 20
years.
Look
Ram
at
Ram.
us.
There he is.
That's him.
Oh, shady boobs.
Now, I don't know what was wrong with Phyllis, because I said this must
But
be the
she
same
only
man.
went on a like a
Well, I
couple
hope to
days.
God
Praise
she was
God.
on drugs the
Yeah.
days that
She
she went
started
out with
picking
him.
up on him. She was like, this nigga's
She
weird.
was on coke those days.
And she died.
He is the most prolific killer in modern history.
That's it.
Well, he's a serial killer.
Because he got away with it for so
So long.
long.
And
And
then
he stayed
died.
out there. If it wasn't for mitochondria DNA and Chuck E. Cheese, ladies and
The
gentlemen.
pizza.
That lady is what really tipped
Well,
me
that's
off.
true. When he went back to her crib. But see, they always say they go back to the scene of the crime.
He was killing people from 84 to
I told
Wasn't
you.
he getting them in alleys and shit?
Yeah, shut in the alleys.
94.
And they would just find dead bodies just all over the place. Dead bodies.
23
raped,
years.
all kind of stuff.
And he would take a picture of him.
He was so moldy when they came and got his ass. He
I
was
bet he
just
was.
at the house watering out front. The Fed
nothing.
just came up like, you know what
Like,
you
you know
done
what
done.
time it is. Come on, just
We
don't
got
even
your
say
ass.
nothing.
You a
Let's
Chuck E.
go.
Cheese. You
His
should
name is
stay
Lonnie
home.
Franklin, ain't it? Did he
Yeah.
die? He died.
Yeah, Lonnie Franklin.
Yeah, back over.
That was him, Lonnie.
Found unresponsive in a cell at California prison.
Did
after
somebody
having
got him?
somebody-
Of
Oh yeah,
course.
come
Yeah.
on, yeah, they got it.
Oh yeah, unresponsive.
Right, exactly. Coincidence.
That's code word for inmates killed you.
Yeah, they got him.
Basically,
There he is. Look, I got a story. See, I had a story, y'all. Y'all didn't know it. But yeah, when you talk to me about that pizza, Shelly, that mitochondria DNA.
But who would think they could get you from some pizza?
He didn't. Mr. Smartass didn't.
They
So
didn't
that's the
give
only
away
thing he had to get him.
Pizza.
I caught him slipping.
The
He
Graham
just
Sleep.
recently died, 2020.
Yeah, that's
so
He looked kind of like a killer, kind of
Yeah,
like
he
now.
looked very killer.
okay, so
But he still don't scare me as bad as that man you did had that last time. That wild man that was
Yeah, the crazy
screwing
one.
everybody and had his kids on that
Had
boat in the
his kid
middle of the
on
ocean.
boat.
He scared me.
He still scared me. Just the story you told
Right.
me.
okay, so this is Lonnie David Franklin Jr.
Of course, his last name's Franklin.
Yeah, and oh my God. it's scary.
He was circularly responsible for at least 10 murders and 1 attempted murder.
From 84 to 2000. He been
80s.
killing before 84.
You know he was killing
From
before.
84 to 2007, he was also convicted of rape and sexual violence. He earned his nickname when he appeared to have taken a 14-year break from his crimes from 1988
That's why they called him the sleeper.
to
Right.
2002.
Because he take a
Because
break.
he took a break.
And then he started doing
And he
it.
wasn't even in prison. Was he in prison during that 14 years?
I think he
he was
wasn't
just
in prison.
laying low.
No, I don't even think he was laying low. I think he was killing people.
He probably was going to a different county doing a different type of crime, and then he went back to this style of murder.
You can't just go no 14 years.
Because that's someone as addiction. Is all them pictures he had all them women?
Right. How you just gonna stop for 14 years and then go back?
That's like stopping me
Some
from
of
me
y'all-
drinking Starbucks.
Right.
I'm like, right, really? Right. Fuck yeah, I'm not drinking, not stopping.
that's
I'm
like-
going to have
that's
my
what
white
weed
chocolate
and-
mocha.
yeah, you don't
We
stop
don't
what
even,
we doing on
right.
14
And then when you get, you're doing both, it's bad.
Right, and he was.
He didn't stop no 14 years. I don't care what nobody said.
And he was
didn't stop.
given the death penalty in 2016. He just found dead in a cell. Up at San
But what's
Quentin State
crazy is you done killed somebody and took a picture after you take a picture of them, you kill them and you rape them, and then you go to your grandkids Chuck E. Cheese. I had to kill my daddy. Then you go to Chuck E. Cheese to your grandkids. I would have to kill my daddy.
Oh, whoa.
You holding my child?
He's got some mental issues.
What?
Okay, so born out here in South Central, he was given a dishonorable discharge from the United States Army in July 1975.
After being released from a prison for his conviction of gang raping a seven. Okay, see, you would not be holding my child. I don't care if you is my daddy. You're not going to come to the birthday party. You're not going to do that.
You're not coming, he's not invited.
Not after you've been convicted of gang
No,
raping
yeah,
or
you
something.
can't come to the
No, you
family
can't.
events anymore.
No.
Right, so the two him and the two servicemen stationed in Stuttgart stopped at direction from the teen and offered her
That's
a ride
insanity.
home. When she accepted, they put a knife to her throat, drove to the field, and repeatedly raped her. She was able to feign interest, and Franklin asked for his phone number, by which police identified him. During the gang rape, photographs were taken by the rapist, as Franklin did later with women that he raped and murdered. He was, in 1989, he was convicted of 2 charges of theft. 1 charge of misdemeanor assault and 1 charge of battery. He only served time for one of the theft charges.
That's so bad.
Got a criminal profile.
See, they don't believe drug users and sex offenders. They dismiss that kind of shit. That's why they get away with this shit for
With
so
the
long. Because the girl, see where it says right here, black women were chronic drug users and street sex workers. That's
Strawberry
so,
murders.
right.
If
He
the
believed
killer
they were responsible for
dubbed
stabbing and
the
strangling at least
Southside
13
Slave.
sex workers. See, they think they could just see, and then the police
It
don't
goes
believe.
all the way back
They
to the stuff we were
discount
talking
you.
earlier. You know what I mean?
That's why so many of them just end up missing. And
Right, and
And
then
no one
they
cares.
asked for the tip
what
from
y'all
the
think of
public.
Night Stalker? They talking about Richard Ramirez on here.
And so
was
the
crazy.
LAPD was heavily criticized for their failure to alert the South Central community to the possibility of a serial killer earlier. Activist Margaret Pressott and other community activists held weekly protests outside the LAPD's headquarters in an effort to pressure the department into forming a task force to investigate the murders. Pressott contrasted the apparent lack of police interest in the South Central murders with the significant attention to the investigation
It
of
was
the
more
Night
than that.
Stalker, Richard
He did a whole
Ramirez,
lot more than that.
a serial killer
Right.
who targeted women in upscale areas of Los Angeles and San Francisco. She accused the LAPD of indifference to the death of women who are poor, black, drug users, and sex workers, which the LAPD
I
denied.
do have a question.
No, I
what do you
think
guys
they
think
do.
about them letting out Van who?
I don't know who that is.
What's he up
Forgive
to?
me.
Leslie Van Houten.
There you go.
Who's
What do you
Leslie
do?
Van Houten?
Right.
She's what's
she
the
was
Charlie Manson murder.
Oh, the Manson murderer.
Yeah,
No, I don't think
yeah,
it's her. No.
I'm feeling some kind of way.
They
I'm feeling some kind of way
let
about that.
her
Because
out.
if they were black,
They wouldn't get out.
they would
because
have
she's
died.
75, I'm supposed to give a
Right.
I'm supposed to care. I don't know if that's exactly her age, but I know she's in
No,
her
she's
70s.
she's 70 something.
So I'm supposed. You were a part of the Manson murders, and you just get to
The
go
Bianca,
home?
Biancos?
The La Biancas,
The La
yeah.
Biancas?
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
just
and
saying.
she has advocates that said that she should have been released years
Oh,
ago.
I know. Even one of the people,
Oh,
who
they
helped,
must be
even
the
one of the
same
women
Donald
who
Trump
helped put her
people.
away.
And this is the
More
part
than
that really
Now, said I spent
didn't-
several of hours with her.
yeah.
She's a
Jones
champ.
out.
with
Release
her.
Johnson out now.
Right, but my thing is, why can she's they agree she's not the same woman at 70 that she was at 19. But all people of color
Are the same.
are the same. Because I know tons of brothers who were still locked up from stuff they did 17,
12, yeah.
18
years old,
19
yeah.
years old. And it wasn't no Manson cutting babies out of people's stomachs and stabbing them to death. They
Right.
didn't do
And
that.
Newsom
And then
did
blaming
not
it on
wanna let
black
her go.
people.
Newsom did not want to let her go. Newsom said
No,
no.
the first time
but
he
they
said
went
no.
around him this time. No, they went around him this
Again,
time.
second time, he said no the first time. It was the very first time. He was like, "Nah, I ain't fucking with her."
So a couple times he said no. And they went around him this
So,
time.
to me, I feel like on general principle, if you got a life bitch, then you need to serve that shit out.
Just do what you gotta do.
Because your homegirls died in there, bitch. So you just need to
Just
go
do it,
on and die
right?
with
Just
it.
write it out.
I, the one of them died from cancer, and they
prison?
didn't release her. She
Because how do we know that you really changed? How do we know you might not get out and start that shit up again and go find like a little redwood city, some
And
shit
go
out there? Next
being
you know,
weird
we
again.
doing the same bullshit again, doing the same old shit. Ta-da!
Yeah.
You might even have a 80, 60, 70, 80 year vendetta that you just can't wait to get out. You know, when I get out,
I'm irritated.
I didn't like that shit at all. The other day when I saw it on the news, I turned the channel. I'm like, man, you know what I
irritated
mean?
that
But you,
they
cause
let
you
her.
did this shit, lady. It ain't like you was in the car. It was some wrongdoing. You wasn't the shooter, but you was in the drive. No, ho. You
And don't tell me,
did it.
oh, it was because I was under the influence. No.
Well, they're not the
You
same
know the difference
person.
between right and wrong. And you know he wasn't Jesus.
From 19
so stop
to
it.
now.
But
Right.
you know he was supposed to be the Messiah of some sort.
They believed that. This whole
Yeah,
cult.
because
On
all the
acid.
drugs, I would imagine so.
On acid. They were on
That's
acid.
what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It's just interesting. So it hasn't changed really much, has it? It hasn't changed, guys. It's actually never changed. It just was
It just switches
marketed
it
to
up.
us differently. And then now, old boys just said, oh no, 2045 said, no, let's just go ahead and take this sheet right
Yeah,
off.
he just
Bitch.
uncovered it.
This is what we still doing, motherfuckers.
Right, we don't have to wear the hood anymore.
Anymore, but it's still happening.
Right, it's still happening.
Well, wait, Jody Arias, girl. I don't mean to change.
Girl, you know what that is.
Cellmate. Have you guys seen Jody Cellmate?
No,
I saw a little bit tell me about it. Because you know, that's my dog.
You
'Cause
gotta
she
watch.
She
She
got
done
Jody.
influenced two of these women in jail
Yeah. To do something?
to do yeah.
To do all
Jody
kinds of
is
shit.
crazy.
Jody won't stop. Can't stop.
Yeah.
She can't.
Somebody
Jody's
needs to stop
not gonna stop.
Jody.
She
just
been
in
pimping
there.
since
Yeah.
day one.
Yeah.
She's still pimping in
Yeah, she
jail.
is.
Yeah, she's
Yes, she-
and
she got a
still
whole
pimping
another
in jail.
new
She pimping
documentary.
so hard. She got them women put her name on their leg.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yes.
Jody don't play.
They gotta. She done put her name.
She got mind
Jody
control.
on their leg.
It's all
she's
mind
branded.
And
control.
now that they
She
out,
belong to 'em.
yeah. Now
they belong to her.
Yeah.
See?
You belong to me again. Another you
But
belong
wait,
to me.
now that they out, they tried to get another tattoo on top of it because they got Jody's name on them.
Yeah, they're trying to do
She
a cover-up.
convinced
what did
one of
Jody
them
Arias
to
do again?
open
Yeah.
a
did
social
Jody
media
do?
account and start messing with Travis's family and friends.
What did Jody do?
What did
what's
Jody
her
do?
You
whole
know that
story?
Jody Arias,
the three-hole
dirty
wonder?
little secret? The three-hole wonder?
Oh, the one about the guy who was the Mormon.
Yes.
and he couldn't
In Utah.
sleep with her.
Sleep with
in
her.
She was
Utah.
she was a
He,
three-hole
he
wonder.
did her dirty. He did her dirty.
Yeah, I
he did her
remember that
dirty.
one.
He did.
And so she started pimping women
On the inside.
on the
Like Jody.
Girl, she even had them
Jody
shiny
asked-
shoes, girl.
Jody just
Bringing her commissary.
Let me
all that.
clarify, not in a sex way, but however,
I mean, but she had them doing all kind of shit.
they were a
shiny
couple.
shoes.
They were a couple, and then 3 of them were always seen together.
Sexual purposes and abuse.
Well, they put their name, her name,
And as a
on there.
present to one of them, they stripped for one of the girls.
What?
Because they were a couple. She was involved with the couple thing.
Jody's in jail. That's what I'm saying. They was doing all kind of stuff.
She had like some white prison retreat.
Yeah, right. It's like they just mixing and mingling.
What?
Not the Urban Dictionary.
Did she go to prison where Martha Stewart went?
Right.
Girl.
Free. They got a
Girl. It trips me out how some of these jails that they have these women in, and they could just go and see their boyfriend and be coming back pregnant.
That's right. How does that happen? You pay the right guard, you're gonna get it.
They let them out for the weekend.
Jody is crazy.
Okay.
Well, you know they
but
did that with
us-
Robert Downey Jr. when he served his sentence. He only served Monday through Friday. I mean,
because he had to do the movie.
No, he
go that day and leaving.
yeah, he came back for the weekend. He only went to jail during
the week, Monday to Friday.
during the week. He was free to film his
I'm like,
movies.
what kind of jail?
but
he
he
came
came
back
back
on
on the
the
weekends. He served
He
his time
served
on the
his
weekend.
time.
He had a good lawyer.
I'm like, these girls is in jail and they reading books, rolling hair,
Right.
doing tattoos
Doing
and shit. I'm like,
shows,
where they
hanging
doing
out.
that? Because they don't let black people do that.
Yeah, so I'm like, that's what we ain't learning how they
I don't see no black people in jail writing books,
doing this kind of crazy stuff.
polishing their nails, curling their hair.
Right.
All that shit is weapons.
Okay, so
How you gonna do a tattoo with a pen?
so if I got a
Jody, she put her name on the girl.
Oh my gosh. Somebody needs to stop Jody. They need to get
Okay,
her.
so here's some highlights.
Jody, her cellmate.
Here are some audio highlights.
From her
the
trial.
trial.
That's the first trial. She trying to look innocent right there.
That's
yeah,
what I'm
that's
like, why
what she
Jody
said.
trying to look so,
Because,
so...
She is, but the two that the
Her and
two,
Travis.
I got a compilation of her best moments.
Okay.
Right here.
That's it. The best of Jodi Arias, ladies and gentlemen. The best. The most memorable moments.
Let's look her up.
pimping the people.
Did he ever ask you to wear an outfit like that?
No.
Did he ever use phrases with you that you're the ultimate slut in bed?
No.
And did he talk to you about blowing enormous loads every time?
No.
Did he ever ejaculate on your face?
No.
Did he ever call you a whore,
No.
a slut,
No.
a three-hole wonder?
No.
Did he ever tell you how he wanted to tie you to a tree and, quote, put it in your ass?
No.
Must have had a different relationship that he did with Miss Arias, correct?
Objective lack of foundation. We were talking about the Cancun issue, man. You never told the detective about the Cancun issue, did you?
What Cancun issue?
Do you remember that we're talking about Travis Alexander? Let's start with that.
Yes, I remember that.
That's why we're here, because you killed him, right? Mr. Alexander is out of the shower, correct?
Yes, he is. Or he stepped out. I don't know if he has 1 foot in, 1 foot out, but he stepped out.
Well, he needed to have been out of the shower in order for him to grab you and body slam you, didn't he?
Not necessarily.
Oh, so
He
you're
had-
saying that he was in the shower, and from the shower he kind of reached over and grabbed you and body slammed you sideways, even though he wasn't out of the shower?
No, I said he definitely stepped out, but I don't know if he had both feet out or 1 foot out.
So when he is in the shower, he at least takes one step out, and you're far enough away so that the water's not going to be getting on the camera, right? Right?
Yes.
And in this position where his legs are open, potentially, right? Right?
Yes.
You're saying that he reaches over with one leg still in the shower, and he body slams you. That's what you say, right?
No, it's not what I said.
Ma'am, were you crying when you were shooting him?
I don't remember.
Were you crying when you were stabbing him?
I don't remember.
How about when you cut his throat? Were you crying then?
I don't know.
So take a look then. This is a very small closet, isn't it?
No, it's bigger than the cell that I live in.
It's bigger than what?
It's bigger than the cell that I live in. It's not a small closet.
Ma'am, we don't want to know where you live in. Do you understand that?
I'm just using that as reference. It's
Ma'am,
not small.
You understand? Did I ask you where you were living?
No.
We're clear, right? We do not want to know where you're living right now. You understand that?
Okay, sorry.
No need to be. Take that attitude that... Is there an issue with you with answering the questions as they're posed?
Sometimes, but I'm trying to answer them the best I can.
So is it an attitude issue with you then?
Objection, argumentative, Your Honor. Move to strike.
Something that, according to you, you said on direct examination, I've never killed anyone before. Do you remember saying that?
Yes, I remember.
So it's kind of a highlight in your life, wouldn't you agree? Or a low light, however you want to look at it. I'm not asking you if you're looking at his eyes. I'm asking you whether or not you could see his face.
Not really. Like, he was kind of like... bent.
Okay. So what you're saying then is that he is more like a bull rather than a linebacker because he's got his head down and he's charging like a bull with his head down. That's what you're saying, right?
Not quite down like that, but maybe in between. That would be accurate.
All right, so he's in between here. If he's got his head down, as you tell us that he does, and you say you can't see his face, though. That's what you say, right?
No, I just don't remember whether I noticed his face or not. He was just this ball of fury coming at me, and that's what I remember.
And you said you couldn't see his eyes. That's what you just said, right?
I don't remember seeing his eyes.
So that means you didn't see his eyes, right?
That doesn't mean that. It just means I don't remember looking into his eyes.
So if he's down in this position that you're talking about with his head down like that, how could he possibly know to come after you if he's looking down? How is he going to do? Feel his way around?
Objection calls for speculation. Argumentative.
Sustained.
I think that she is playing a game.
She is an entire basket case.
I think she meant to do it. She wanted to kill him, and I think she did.
Yeah.
And I think she played the game. She told them that she wanted the death penalty because she said that's better than living, because she wanted them to not give her the death penalty.
Reverse psychology. She's pimping all over the world.
Guess what? She's at now. She's,
you know what I'm
she
saying?
has a life sentence.
Oh,
she ain't going
I think death is better for me
nowhere.
because I just can't stand to live in jail.
And then they're like, oh, well, we'll make you live
in jail.
Yeah, but she was like, I'm going to be pimping bitches and getting them tatted. So
they're
it's
gonna
gonna
tap
work.
their names on my name on their bodies.
Now she's branding people.
She plays.
Jody's not. She just won't quit.
No.
Hey,
She's definitely.
She said pimping ain't easy, but somebody's got to.
Somebody's got to do it.
Jody's gonna write a book.
Yeah.
Another one? I'm not sure say that. Did she write a book?
She got a movie now.
She got a movie too.
Yes.
Movie 2 or 3 or 4.
Yeah, I know. I
But
like
you
that
can't
story.
earn profits while you're in jail, right?
No.
No, but they've got like 2 or 3 movies on her. They've got 2 or 3 documentaries on her. She wanted to be famous, and she's famous. She famous.
Yeah, so very.
Yeah, it's like, people always do like these docu-series when it comes to these type of cases. That doesn't exactly mean that the people that were actually involved, especially the main actual person, actually gets residuals. Hell no.
Speaking of residuals, how about the strike, ladies and gentlemen?
Oh, I know
the
the writers.
SAG-AFTRA strike. Will we not have movies to watch?
I know. I
Will
need on
these
Netflix.
films be fueled by AI? Has Chat
because
GPT
Netflix
taken over the industry, people?
Netflix says that they have enough.
Enough content.
Yeah,
For a lifetime.
to last them a long time.
So they cool. They don't even need nobody.
Right.
So what is that telling you?
That's what Netflix.
And then there's others. They just gonna go on ChatGPT. Write me a screenplay for
They
Gone
can
in the
do
Wind.
that. Yeah.
And it will write that.
And it'll write it.
Right, and it's just like
use it sometimes?
I think that's terrible.
I think that's the main thing that they're striking for.
It's horrible.
It is. That's why I'm like shaking my head. It's like really horrible.
There's the AI generated side of it. There's also, since now you have all these productions that are supposed to be in play are no longer in play because actors that were actually a part of the actual union they are now striking. So now they are going offset. That also means that they can't promote any upcoming things, any upcoming projects. They have to be silent. They are muted. And
That's a
literally,
huge risk,
it is
isn't
literally a game now. It is a literal waiting game because the bargaining agreement ended
2 days ago?
this year in June 30th. It ended this year, so it's literally a renegotiation. But you also have to take into account now. You not only have streaming platforms that stream everything now. You now have the threat of AI generated content, which can falsify people and say you were here when in reality you weren't here at all. There's that aspect, and then there's the movie studio aspect, which is why the strike is basically in place. So now the movie studios, because when you think about it, like in like the long term, the actors, they get paid for when they are actually on set, when they actually perform and actually do
The
their
residuals
job.
is really low, isn't it?
And
I think
then you have the residuals from like the TV shows, like a Martin,
Fresh Prince,
say for example, Tisha Campbell, like, she's struggling,
right,
somewhat. So it's like, she would definitely need those like added residuals.
But I think those are negotiated in your original contract.
Right from day one.
I think what
Those are
becomes a
negotiated.
bigger component aren't the Tisha Campbells of the world, but they're those B-level actors, right? So you're a background actor. You
or
you
back
have
in the
small
day,
parts or that.
or
type
like
of
in
thing.
the 70s. Like I'm telling you, like I have a friend. She was a child star. She was on The White Shadow and
Don't
different
play
things.
with me. You know, it come on every morning on Meet TV at 7 o'clock.
She
That
gets
got
like
me through
2
life.
cents. She gets
2 cents?
literally. She gets like a check for like 2 cents. Dana.
But I think that's
better than
that's exactly. At least she negotiated something through it,
But
right?
yeah. that
But
was
I
like
was
40 years
listening
ago.
to the news about an actor who, was talking. He's not an A level or B level. He just makes his living as an actor, extra, that type of thing. And the studios have been discussing using AI. So I'll pay you one time to be in a film as a extra or as a part of a smaller part, and then I capture your image and your voice, and now I can use AI to have you be an extra
in the movie
in whatever I want. So I have a library of computer generated content. I think that is
horrible.
And the New World Order.
I mean, it definitely eliminates
Those
a
who were
plethora of
first will
jobs.
be last.
Well, that's what the actors are saying. It's going to eliminate a plethora
And then what will
of
happen
their
is they'll
jobs.
get all of that content, and then they'll
And
hire
I
a
don't wanna
whole
be
new
watching no
slew
damn robots.
of
Right,
people
and-
who's not going to give them all of that
Right,
Hollywood
and-
at a fucking too.
Right, and plus, like, if you're going to use their likeness, are they going to be getting an actual cut of that since you're using their likeness? Is
No,
it-
they ain't giving them shit.
Right
Yeah,
now,
dude.
there's no regulations around AI. So
and I
it's
think that's where
new.
strike
It's coming.
comes into
So
place.
it's not
this is
illegal
what
for me
creates it. This is
to
what's
to
gonna
recreate
create
your
laws.
image.
Which is
These are
why
the
we
things.
were seeing all these AI generated art. We had the AI generated Drake, AI generated Malaj, just like all these AI
That
generated.
shit is scary.
it is
It's
really
very
Like,
scary.
all these AI generated artists.
You can have
singing
somebody
all these
committing a
different
murder. They
songs.
ain't commit the murder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's the extreme of it, but it can get to
They
that
could
point.
get to that point.
It can get to that point.
Man, and
Basically, she
Even
can
the
frame somebody for
creators
murder.
of
The reason
Chat-
why I say that is, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I was just going to say, even the creators of ChatGPT have have gone to Congress asking to create regulations around
They should.
the content that
They
they've Imagine that.
There is a show, you guys, which I'm gonna tell you what made me scared. I had to turn it off. There is a show right now, and I'm trying to remember what it's called, but it's couples that go onto this thing, and for example, Lori, they use AI to make Eric's not really with someone, but AI is showing you that Eric is with someone. And you have to figure out that if you know Eric well enough to say that's not Eric or that's Eric.
That's a bot, right? That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Like a virtual world?
Yeah, it's a show right now. And it is on. It's not Hulu, I don't think. It's either Hulu or Netflix. But the couples,
scary.
They're testing their love, their trust for each other,
Whether
and they're
or not
saying,
their mannerisms or their
is that
responses.
really Eric, or is that really
Or you can just go create your
you be
whole
like,
new
no,
person.
that ain't him, or
Is that
you
an
could,
affair?
or you could see
If you get you an AI man? Are you cheating? That's next week's discussion.
No, I don't.
Can
think
you
you
cheat
are.
with an AI?
I don't
Can you
think
live
you
that song? Can you love a virgin man?
I think-
Can you
I
love
think-
an AI man?
I think you're gonna have people living
Next thing you know,
fantasies
we're gonna
like
have
that, though.
I
I think you
virtual
will have
babies.
people living fantasies like that.
That's not far.
I would create me a Maxwell or something like that.
Not a
Yeah.
Maxwell,
Just go
right.
put your little headgear on, just sit there.
Yeah.
Act like you're in there.
Idris Elba, come here.
That's cheating, though, ain't it?
Is that cheating? Can you cheat
Can
with
AI
AI?
stop people from cheating on their romantic partners? It's a whole thing. They want to know.
Oh.
That's a question that they're asking. Wow.
You know, it depends because there was
This
a
is our
movie.
next topic,
I'm sure
guys.
you remember
If you're
that.
watching yourself
There's a
having sex
movie
with
about a
somebody, is
man
that
who had fallen in love.
And it's not really you.
With like his Siri.
Right.
Is that cheating?
Yeah, remember that?
I've been waiting for this shit.
Oh wait,
I'm here. I made it, y'all.
that's the funniest part because it's like I hear stories.
I don't think so. Well, I don't know
If you're
because there's
watching
emotional
yourself
now.
with
of
somebody,
you
like you
cheating.
create
Did you cheat? Because
your
I think it's
fantasy,
emotional
like Michael
cheating.
Jackson, and you went to Michael Jackson on the thing, and you watching yourself with Michael. That's
This
cheating.
is
ain't it?
crazy as hell. What? Oh my gosh. We gotta
Lori had to
I
think
don't
about that way.
Now also is it also
If
cheating
you're watching and enjoying
if Usher
yourself
gives you a
on
lap
AI.
dance at a concert? Is it cheating?
Is what?
That's what we were talking to my sister and I. It's like, no, it's Usher, baby.
Yeah, she just showed a
Usher,
little
baby.
ass. Little.
Is it cheating? If
Kiki
Is it
Palmer.
cheating if Beyonce?
Kiki Palmer.
Was it cheating when Beyonce gave Terrence Howard that lap dance?
No.
Exactly. So no.
It
it's
wasn't
not
cheating when she let Usher grab her.
No, it wasn't cheating. She was.
I mean, she didn't even grab her. He
was
just gave her a little
performing.
hug.
He was performing.
Kiki Palmer. She had all the ass cheeks out. But so people got issues because
Yeah.
people have a concern of seeing Kiki Palmer's ass. I don't know why. People
I
not used to
mean,
seeing Kiki and the B ass.
grew up.
Yeah, she's.
I mean,
she's
I
developed.
was
She's
She's
saying-
got her some hips. She had a baby.
Right.
She got her some goods now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say
So is
that.
that cheating? AI?
The
is that-
outfit
not at
in
all.
Public
Okay.
is questionable.
Because
Right.
I would
Say
create
that.
me a
The
man,
public,
honey.
the public eye vibe.
Right.
I don't think it
right
is-
because
we need to
outfit is
discuss-
questionable,
get more people in
especially
here.
just being out in public like that.
Do a show
That's
on
a good
AI.
topic. Is
Cheating
AI
or not?
cheating?
Is it cheating? Because if you sitting
We
there
need to
watching
get some men in
yourself-
here. Get a couple guys.
You watching yourself with so and so, you create, I created Michael Jackson.
You create a
And you
virtual
put
world.
the little visual thing.
Yeah, you put on
Right.
that.
Okay,
You're
this
watching
is
yourself
so a
be on
show,
that
dogs. I'm telling y'all, this is a show.
Because I'd be like, I'll be right back.
Right.
This is either
And
August
then just
5th.
Put on your.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Go on your. Go on your green
But if you
screen.
got your little goggles on, you are right there
my
on
virtual
the
reality
camera.
God, this bitch don't never come out her
It
room.
could
I'm going to
also,
work.
that could be a good relationship assistant.
There you go, an
never
AI
Relationship
relationship assistant.
So it's not.
Girl, we can make some money.
We finna do this next week.
Or we can make so many residuals.
They already
I
got virtual
think-
reality when it comes
I
to
don't
like.
think AI has to be, an assistant.
Crazy,
It can be
right.
your primary.
Oh yeah.
Also, you saying now, just
You don't
fuck
even
it,
need-
just make
yeah,
me a
just-
man.
Yeah.
Make me a man. I be legend.
Yeah, just do it.
And I can tell him to
Just go
say
ahead,
and do
super-
what the hell I want him to
It's like
say.
a Sims. You got your own Sims. I have my own Sims, and I'm in the game with them because I got my ocular thing on. Ocular.
You be like, okay, let me see who I want to be
I'm
with
there.
tonight. Let me see who I
there.
want
Where
to
we
be
go?
with.
We going to a
doing it.
concert. Whatever we doing, we could really do it.
Yeah.
In
Who am I
this
go out
world.
with tonight? Who am I
What do they call it in the metaverse?
Right.
Girl,
That'll be a good discussion.
Put your little binoculars on. You be like, who am I fuck tonight?
Right. She like
Let me
just
thumb through the
scroll.
pages.
Yeah, just
Let me
scroll. Just scroll.
Bingo. That one.
Maxwell. That's it.
Come on, baby. But I would On the line, I'm gonna go back to White Shadow Stoney Jackson, y'all. I'm gonna create.
Young Stoney. Young Stoney before he got burnt out. Young Stoney.
Stoney before he started working at the embassy.
Before he started working at the hotel.
Yeah. It got bad.
Stoney was fine.
Yes. As a I used to love him. And Lord, I don't know what you did with my autograph of his. Do you remember I did.
Yes. Go back to Wyndham and get another one.
Lori said, "Don't be bringing up old shit."
Don't do that.
He was at the Compton High basketball. Remember the All-Star Celebrity basketball game? Girl, that was my baby daddy. And you know what? That was when the White Shadow was hot.
Yes.
In the up and
he straight
White
came
Shadow
up.
was everything.
Everything.
Coolidge,
I'm telling you, Shelly, right now, 7 o'clock in the morning, dog, turn on Me TV because I'm going to start calling
Me
it
TV.
METV.
I watch them too because they got the old people.
Nice.
The
They
old
got the
old shows.
I like that. But did y'all, okay, I'm going to tell y'all before we leave the air. If anybody was a White Shadow fan, particularly talk today, did y'all remember the episode when they killed Curtis Jackson?
Curtis Jackson.
I was not a White Shadow fan.
Girl, I saw that the other morning. I could barely go to work after I saw that shit. I was like, well, do Jesus. I was shooketh. I was shooketh. And ladies and gentlemen, we've had a great night
I
here.
know. We've uncovered so many things.
Cookies and crime.
Yes.
With the little AI
With an
twist.
AI twist. Yeah. Cookies and crime with an AI twist.
Just never know what it's going to do. Lori G, what's going on next week, gorgeous?
That would be great to know. Yeah.
You don't know.
Oh, discombobulated. We've got so many things going on.
I'm all shooketh myself.
Lori's like, it's TMI.
You shook up with the AI crap.
We're gonna have a surprise show, so just kind of tune in.
All right.
And see what it's gonna be a big surprise.
Yes, we'll be back here, ladies and gentlemen, the Poetry of Justice Show with Jackie Ray Phillips on YikesRadio.com and AccelerateRadio.net. Say goodnight, Shelly.
Good night.
Good night.